Stand up, New York Giant fans. Stand up, New York Knicks fans. For anybody that watched the game today, what a freaking win! I'm still not over that. But Baddog, excited to be on here and talk about our dismal franchise for yet another week. What's going on, man?
Yes, I'm excited. Last week of the season, thank God. I can't lie. This season has been probably the most draining season that I've dealt with as a Giants fan. As a matter of fact, I wanted to do a video today about Joe Judge, and I just said, you know what? I don't feel like it. And I figured we'd talk about him tonight anyway. But I just was like, you know what? The same thing as yesterday. I'm like, you know what? I'm not doing a video. I'm not doing anything. I'm just taking a day off of YouTube. And I said, we'll deal with this crap. We'll talk with the Giants. We'll do it on Sunday. And then we get to look forward to all the changes coming in the offseason. So definitely looking forward to just getting this season over with. It's certainly been disappointing. I don't think there's any other way to put it.
Yeah, I mean, I think at this point it's just a countdown to figure out what picks we're going to have at the end of the year. Unfortunately, that's the way it's been with the Giants this time of year outside of last year, just because our division was so bad since I've been on YouTube. The way I broke it down today when I did the math, if the Giants win, the furthest we could drop is 6. So it's not going to really matter if we win or lose. I mean, 5 or 6. We're probably not moving up any further than that because we would need the Jets to beat Buffalo in a game in which Buffalo needs to make the playoffs, and we would need Houston to beat Tennessee in a game in which Tennessee needs to get the number 1 seed in the AFC. So I'm not banking on either one of those teams winning. So I think the Giants are going to either be picking 5 or 6. So it's not going to be like a game where I think anybody should be getting super depressed if they end up winning the game and we fall back 1 spot. I think where the ILB is going to be the Bears game. If the Bears end up winning, they could potentially drop down to like 12. So I want to make sure they stay in the top 8.
Yeah, I mean, we got freaking Jake Fromm starting, so that's
always good.
I really have no chance of winning, so it's not really a big deal there. LA Sports, thank you for super chat, appreciate it. Much love from Toronto. Chris, did you like my tweet?
Yeah, he tweeted out my reaction to the game winner tonight from RJ Barrett, and I appreciate that. LA Sports. I need a beer to cool down because I'm still barely have a voice. That was the most exciting Knicks stream I've ever done. So that was a lot of fun. I appreciate you for being there, LA Sports.
Yeah, that's good. Of course, I fell asleep because my ass has done nothing but freaking work 60 hours this week. So coming on vacation, always rough. There's no doubt about it. DB from EP, thank you. Appreciate it. Linderbaum by himself makes Saquon elite. I don't know about that, but he would help. He would help in that process for sure.
Yeah, I mean, I think if the Giants could, not just Linderbaum, but if they get a tackle as well, that's going to go a long way towards, making Saquon the Saquon that we think he can be. And that's huge next year. Even if Saquon's not going to be in the long-term plans, you want him to up his trade value, so if we could potentially trade him from within season. So we'll see, but I'm excited to see what they do in the draft and see what we got going forward. But I'm with you, man. We get Linderbaum to me. And, I've seen a lot of people on Twitter, Baddog, tell me that Linderbaum is not, you can't take a center in the top 10. Give me a break. Have you seen this guy play? Like,
yeah.
Quentin Nelson.
Yeah.
People say the same thing about Quentin Nelson and, and now you got Monday morning GMs 2 years later saying the Giants should have taken him 2nd overall or traded down and taken him at 5th. Guards don't typically go that early either, but when you have a guy like that, you watch Linderbaum. I mean, his ability to get to the 2nd level is unmatched at the center position. He's a freak. He's a once in every 10, 15, 20-year center. So I'd be completely fine with the Giants taking that guy in the top 10.
Hey, since the beginning of the year, I've been touting that kid. And same thing. I don't know what it is. That must be the one part of the offensive line that I notice is centers, because I touted Creed Humphrey since he was a freshman at Oklahoma. And, he's one of the best centers in the league his rookie season. And like everyone in the chat knows, since probably week 2 of the college season, I've just been talking about Tyler Linderbaum and how good he can be. Because, one thing that we haven't been able to do is run screens and everything else because our linemen don't get to the 2nd level. They don't get out there and block. And this is somebody that can pull. He's athletic. He's fast. He's a little undersized. But you know what? You can gain size. I mean, that's not really a problem. I always love these guys. They're undersized, they're whatever they are, 6'2", 300. He's tiny.
They said the same thing about Tristan Wirfs at the tackle spot. How does he look now? So
yeah.
I think that's like the future of the NFL is you want more quick, agile linemen, than the way it used to be. So, yeah, he's a little bit undersized, but he could pack on some muscle. I'm not worried about it.
Yep. PJ, thank you for the super chat. I appreciate this. As I'm on my way home from the Knicks game, that game was the greatest live sports moment of my life. Definitely got to watch Chris's stream. That was definitely electric.
Yeah.
Like I said, of course, I fell asleep because I'm exhausted. I'm still tired.
You'll watch it back, but it was definitely the best since I've been streaming the Knicks on YouTube. Definitely the best finish to a game. Obviously, they've won more important games, but the best finish to a game, no doubt.
The first game of the year was a hell of a comeback against Boston, the double overtime victory. So they've had this. I knew, like I said, I just laid down as soon as when I'm sitting on the floor or sitting on the love seat watching a game, I'm good. As soon as I go to the couch and lay down, I don't know why I do that because I'm going to fall asleep. I don't ever go that. I don't ever actually lay down and watch TV. I'm going to close my eyes. And luckily I set the alarm for I think I set it for 10:15. So that's why when I text you, I'm like, I had to get a couple minutes to get my bearings back.
Yeah.
So of course, because I'm like, they're going to come back and they're going to lose. That's just what they've been doing. But they did come all the way back tonight, which is pretty awesome because they were down, 19?
25.
Yeah.
They were down 25 at one point. Yeah. I think they were down 20 going into the
Didn't they do that against Milwaukee last year? Were they down by 20 and ended up winning by 20? It was something crazy like that.
Yeah, we had a big comeback win against Memphis last year.
Utah.
Yeah, but that was a fun one. That was a good one.
Yeah. DB, thanks so much. Appreciate it. Says Linderbaum can outrun Kyle Rudolph. I don't care what pick centers are supposed to be drafted. Yeah. That's the problem. People are like, you can't draft that position here. Well, why not?
Well, the thing I hear is the positional value, and I get it. There's never been a center drafted inside the top 10. But for people that compare it to the Saquon Barkley pick, I don't think it's comparable because Saquon Barkley played a position that typically breaks down by the age of 27. And he also plays a position that is dependent on having a strong offensive line. Like Tyler Linderbaum's a guy that's going to come in and he's going to improve at a long-term position. And you're not talking about taking him second. You're talking about taking him 8 or 9. So I don't see the big deal with taking Linderbaum inside the top 10. If you feel he's going to be a top 3, 4, 5 center in the league, we need it. So I am completely on board with it.
Yeah, there's no doubt. We just got to fix this offensive line, man. Well, thank you so much. He says, Knicks. Let's go. Funny thing is, at the beginning of the game, when they're getting beat up, I'm reading all the crap on Twitter, and they are getting killed on Twitter.
They're horrible.
They're getting just killed.
The first half, they were horrible. Awful.
And then even after the game, I would just, I don't even look at Twitter. I think I just scroll down, and then when I put the Knicks on there, it just things from Twitter pop up, and I see all this stuff about how the hell did the Knicks get a 24-second shot clock violation when they're playing 5-on-4. So I don't know what the hell happened there. But
yeah, a couple of bad 24-second violations.
Yeah, that seems like that's happened to them a few times this year. Kalen, thank you. He says Barrett for the win. Bang.
Let's go, man. Let's go, man. I'm glad to see that everybody's happy. It was fun.
New York needs some happy moments. So I'm saying, watch the Rangers. Watch the Rangers. The only good team in New York. Watch the Rangers. Consistently good. Young, headed in the right direction. It's good to have one good team in New York. The Mets and Yankees may give you some excitement, but you never know. You never know. Eric, thank you. Really appreciate it. He says, guys, what direction would you like to see the Giants go in for an offensive coordinator? And do you have an opinion on possibilities? Go blue.
I can't give you a name. I could, but people could say Brian Dabble, but I don't think Dabble would leave Buffalo to take the Giants job for a lateral move. He would leave to become a head coach. Like, he's a guy that a lot of people have brought up, but I don't know. I got to see who the head coach is going to be. More than likely he's going to, I'm not going to say more than likely. I think it's 50-50, but if it is Judge, I don't know. They might just hire somebody from within the staff. I hope it's not Kitchens, though. He's done a horrible job. I can't give you a name off the top of my head. I mean, people may say Joe Brady, but obviously he failed poorly with Carolina. They got him out of there real quick. I can't give you a name off the top of my head, but I think they need a change. I would prefer it, especially if Jones is going to be the quarterback next year, I prefer to be a West Coast style offense. I'll say that. Getting the ball out quick. Some more innovation. Pre-snap motion. We don't really have any of that. So yeah, I'd probably prefer a West Coast style offense, but I can't give you a name.
Yeah, same here because Eric, to me, I think it depends on the head coach. I think the head coach should be able to decide who he wants as his coordinators. And obviously there's these talks and these rumors about head coaches coming in. I don't even know how we can discuss the head coach. You don't know who our GM is. Let the GM pick the head coach, man. I hear, I know Harbaugh, there's all the rumors about him leaving Michigan, and people are like, well, I'd love to be a Giant. And I would love for him to be the Giants head coach too, but to me, it depends on what the new GM wants to do. And you have to let that GM have full reign. I don't think that he can be forced people. And I just don't think that's the way you run an organization. I think that's what's been plaguing us for years, because with the exception of Gettleman and Shermer coming in the same year, we've had all kinds of rotation with the GM and the head coach, since they fired Coffin, when they kept Reese and they had McAdoo, and then they decided to keep Gettleman and they brought in Judge, and it's not working. So I feel like everybody's got to get the hell out of here. And of course, I'm going to talk about Joe Judge, because what else did I do here? Brandon, thank you for the super chat. Appreciate it. Whatever happened to Russ Callaway being a big offseason addition?
Yeah, he's still on the staff. He hasn't done much. The big thing that I was excited about when we brought in Callaway from LSU was that they said that he was specific. He was really good from within the red zone. And that's what they thought that he would bring in terms of a wrinkle to this offense. And obviously that doesn't seem to have worked. Obviously from within the Jason Garrett offense, I don't know, maybe that's a young guy they could promote if they like him, but didn't do much this year in terms of helping us in the red zone. I'll say that.
Yeah. I asked this the beginning of the year, and honestly, because my buddy, one of my friends is a big Washington fan. And he always said when Joe Gibbs came back, they had too many damn coaches. They had too many coaches. And he said, you can't have that many coaches on the team. And I asked that at the beginning of the year, did the Giants have too many damn coaches? Is there too many chefs boiling the pot? And I don't think you need all of these damn coaches that they have. And to me, that was just more body bags for Joe Judge. You could just throw more bodies under the freaking bus if there's more coaches, which again, I'm going to talk about Joe Judge because I want to talk about what he said. And I want to do it a little bit more rational. I'll still make fun of him. I mean, what else did I do? He'll have his season closing press conference on my channel. He's coming back here. We're going to bring him back. But I get to that in one second. Hey, Duncan, thank you for the super chat. If you guys are Eagles GM, what 2 draft picks would you choose? Well, you get 3. You're going to get the Colts pick. You're going to get the Dolphins pick. You're going to get your own. Yeah. I would take a kicker, a punter, and a water boy.
Long snapper.
Yeah. Honestly, wide receiver for you guys, wide receiver, I would consider a quarterback and probably an edge rusher.
They need a linebacker, don't they? I feel like the Eagles always say they need a linebacker.
Well, they could have had Michael Parsons if they wanted him.
Devin Lloyd, he's a linebacker I really like in this trip. But yeah, I feel like I'd probably be looking on the defensive end if I was the Eagles. That's probably where my head would be at. If I was an Eagles fan, I wouldn't be in love with taking a quarterback in this draft. I would maybe look to trade down to get more draft capital in the following draft. But I don't think they're going to take a quarterback. I think they're going to roll with Hurts for another year and try to fill up that defense. Like you said, they got 3 picks. Maybe get another playmaker on that offense. They could use it, but
they need another receiver, definitely.
My guess is they'll probably go with a linebacker. I think they need some help in the secondary as well. So they'll probably on the defense. I think that's what they'll focus on.
Yeah. Johnny, thank you for the super chat. Appreciate it. He says, Stella and stand up, guys. I know you all hate my Eagles. Can't stand them. But our fan bases are passionate. So I just ask, let's hope we can go further than the Cowboys. Let me be honest with you, John. If you guys played the Cowboys, I'd probably root for the Cowboys. I'm not going to lie. I'm not going to sugarcoat it. I can't stand the Eagles. I hate them. I hate the freaking Eagles.
The good news is I don't think they're going to play each other because the Cowboys dropped because they're the 4th.
Yeah, they won't. The Eagles, I think, are scheduled. They'll be slated to play the Rams. And I don't know if the Eagles are playing their guy. I don't think the Eagles can improve, right? And they're already in.
Yeah, the Eagles are clinched. And I don't think they might. Well, they might be able to get up to the 6th seed.
Could they? Okay.
Yeah, I think they.
I'll be honest, Johnny. I could see you both going out in the first round, but I did mention on Monday that I think if the Eagles, this is the thing with the Eagles and Jalen Hurts. Okay, real quick. I don't want to talk about the Eagles, the Giants thing, but I feel like if the Eagles are in, if it's a battle and they're close, they got a good chance. because they run the ball very well. That includes Jalen Hurts. He can run the ball very well. They run the ball well. They got a good offensive line. But if they get down to a team 21-3, 24-3, Hurts is not bringing you back with his arm. That's not his strength. And if you look at the Eagles, their hot streak, man, Hurts has done minimal. And it's been the running game. Now, I mean, minimal in the past game. He runs the ball well, but he hasn't really thrown. They're not asking him to throw 45 times. They're not asking him to throw for 300 yards. They're letting him do what he needs to do, and they're letting him make plays with his legs. You saw what he did against the Giants. I mean, that first game, he was absolutely dreadful. And even in the second game, in the first half, he was dreadful. So I don't know. It depends, but I think if the Eagles are in a battle, I think they can beat anybody if it's close. But I think if they get behind, it just doesn't set up well for them. As far as Dallas goes, Dallas doesn't. Neither one of you beat a team with a winning record this year, I don't believe.
Yeah, I'm going to give you the Eagles wins right now. That's what I was going to say. And I'm going to tip my first off before I say this. I'm not insulting the Eagles. I'm going to tip my cap to them. To me, they're the surprise team of the NFL. I hate them, but I got to be honest. I didn't think they'd sniff the playoffs this year. I think Sirianni deserves consideration for Coach of the Year. I think Howie Roseman deserves consideration for GM of the Year. But when you look at their schedule, like you said, who have they beaten? They beat the Falcons. They beat the Panthers. They beat the Lions. They beat the Broncos. They beat the Saints. And that's when their quarterback, I think, was out. They beat the Jets. They beat Washington twice. And they beat us.
Yeah.
So they haven't beaten anybody. So me, I if I had to guess, if I'm a bet man, I think the Rams are going to smack the crap out of them. So that's my honest opinion on it. But what I will say is they are the type of team that if, say, they play the Rams and the Rams come out sloppy, and the Eagles create a couple of turnovers, they could sit on a lead because of their ability to run the football.
Exactly.
But if they fall behind, it's lights out.
Exactly. That's the way I look at it too. But yeah, actually Dallas did they beat the Eagles, so they did beat a team with a winning record. I think that's the one decent team that they beat. I was kind of hoping they matched up though, because I know one of them would have had to advance, which would have sucked. But to me, when you're an outsider, when you're in the NFC East and you're just watching, your team's not playing, but you're watching an NFC East game, you just love watching them beat the hell out of each other. And you find yourself cheering for each team because the other one's failing. Like if Dak throws a pick, I'd be like, oh, nice throw, Dak. Nice throw. And then if Hurts throws an interception, I'd probably just laugh. And either way, you're going to win because somebody's getting knocked out. You're going to lose because somebody's going to advance. So I just wish we were in a damn playoffs for once, but maybe before I die, we'll get back there. Maybe. Lou, thank you for the super chat. Appreciate you. Says I just want a coach that doesn't say all right after every sentence. Well, he says right there. Usually.
He says all right too.
Right.
That's what I made fun of in his last press conference. He said all right about 30 times. All right. But yeah, he's very repetitive. He's very repetitive.
Yeah, I know how he is. I love the fact that he said clown show. That made my year. Yeah, because that got in his ear somehow. I'll tell you what, man.
I think Joe Judge, it was a mistake on his part. And I know for me, it was refreshing. Like a lot of people ragged on Joe Judge. I didn't like everything he said in the rant. Like I think him going after Pat Shermer and going after McAdoo was a really bad look. But it was refreshing that he wasn't a robot. Like he actually talked to the fans and it wasn't like the same typical answers. But my advice to Joe Judge, if he keeps this job or he becomes a head coach somewhere else, if I was his agent or if I was a guy in his corner, go back to what you were doing. Because when you do what the fans want and you react, you can't win. Because the fans are so mad that when he opens up, no matter what he says, the fans are going to jump all over it. And I think that was a mistake on his part, going out on that 11-minute rant. It just not a good decision.
I wasn't mad at what he said. I want to get through these super chats and we'll talk about it. But because I got a lot to say about it, because there's things I don't like that he does, regardless of him ranting or not. John, thank you for the super chat. Appreciate it. Says I like the Giants draft Tyler Linderbaum and a Kobe Dean. I would be perfectly on board with that. And I'll be honest, I think those are the two picks that they're going to take with our first two picks. The Giants have not addressed the linebacker position ever. Yeah, they haven't taken a first-round linebacker since Carl Banks in 1984. And he says, I guarantee if we don't draft Dean, the Eagles will same for Tyler. I don't think Tyler or Dean gets to the Eagles. I think they'll be going.
Where are the Eagles picking? The
Dolphins will be their best pick. And the Dolphins are probably around 17, 18. They're right at the back of if they don't make the playoffs. I think there's still an outside shot for them to make it. But if they don't, I think that they're like 17th or 18th. And then obviously the Colts and Eagles are in the playoffs. Or the Colts might
Actually,
be.
Miami's pick's a little higher. They're 14.
Okay.
But
Well,
they won't be higher than like 12. It's possible. If they get to like 12, maybe they could get Linderbaum.
I was going to say they could get Linderbaum at that point.
Yeah, they could with that. I mean, depending on what Miami does the last week, I wouldn't be shocked if they get Linderbaum if he drops to that point, but hopefully not. They definitely won't get him with the other two picks.
Yeah. Peyton Manning reveals, thanks, sir. I can't stand the Eagles. That being said, Matt Stafford is extremely inconsistent. Yeah, and he's never won a playoff game either, so that's a fact. And Giants fans have been wrong about every prediction all year. That's not true. Been wrong about a lot, but then again, every fan of every team has made an incorrect prediction. That's the pulse of sports. It happens. Everybody's wrong. Everybody's human. Nobody's perfect. I know some people believe they are, and those are the people that always, well, you were wrong about this. Yeah, because you think you're perfect and you're not.
Well, I think for fans that are just think everything's always going to go wrong, and I don't blame them for feeling that way. Yeah, you guys are right, but it's not like, I don't know. Yeah, okay. So for fans that came in with a little bit of hope, yeah, they were wrong, and more often than not with the Giants, they're going to be wrong. But listen. I'm going to go in. I'm going to go in with some hope. When a team's as aggressive as the Giants were in the offseason, didn't work out. You move on. It's not the end of the world. You hope the team improves next year. But the Eagles, yeah, they got a shot. If the Eagles could get out to the lead, they got the shot. But if I had to guess, I'd bet the Rams.
Yeah.
I'd bet
Well,
the Rams.
you think Giants fans are the only ones that predicted the Eagles not to make the playoffs? I don't know anybody outside that fan base that thought they were going to.
Nobody picked the Eagles to make the playoffs.
Exactly. So
nobody picked the Eagles to make the playoffs.
Bryce, thank you for the super chat. Appreciate you, my man. This is my opinion right now. At this moment, we are the worst team in the league.
I agree.
Can't argue. I agree.
I said that 3 weeks ago. When we're healthy, we're not. We're still bad, but we're not the worst team in the league. But with the state of this franchise right now, with Jones out, Martinez out, all the linemen out, and all the weapons out right now, Galladay's the only wide receiver from the opening day roster. I'm in complete agreement. I think we would lose to any team in the league right now.
Yeah. Payman with Wheels, thank you. Appreciate it. He says nothing would be better for us to let the Giants. Nothing would be better for us to let the Giants way to die. Enough of the nostalgic bull crap, and let's do what winning organizations do. I agree. Stop living in the damn past. 10 years ago is a long time ago. It's a long time ago. Got to move on. There's no doubt. Anthony, thank you, brother. Appreciate it. He says, I want a coach that won't say, let me look at the tape.
Yeah, we've had 3 coaches in a row that have done that. McAdoo used to be the worst with that phrase, but Judge is pretty close. And Shermer did it as well. So, but I'll tell you what, if I was Judge, I'd go right back to saying it, because when he tried to change things and he got killed by the national media, by Giants fans, he should have kept saying, look at the tape for his best interest. So now you see why the coaches are close vested in these in these post-game press conference, because when they give the fans what they want, the national media tears them to shreds. And I honestly have never seen a head coach do that, going on an 11-minute tangent like that. Like, I've never seen that. I've seen coaches go on rants, but not for 11 minutes straight.
Yeah. I'd like to think I had something to do with that. Yeah, I didn't pat myself in the back. I broke Joe Judge. Karner Cowboy, thank you so much. I think Daniel Jones can have a Ryan Tannehill redemption arc if he gets the hell away from Joe Judge. Judge is awful. Yeah, we've talked about it. I think Daniel Jones would be a better quarterback on a better team. I don't think there's any doubt about that. Like I said, my old problem with Daniel Jones, and I've been saying this for 2 years now, is I don't believe his processing speed is up to snuff with the NFL speed. And I think I don't know if that's coachable. I don't know if that has something to do with the team he's on. I don't know if that has something to do with his lack of confidence with the offensive line and what the coaching staff calls, or if that's just his problem. But there's no doubt he couldn't be worse, and I don't think he's had any kind of success under Joe Judge whatsoever. He was inconsistent in his rookie season, but you did see flashes of really good football from him in a few games where you're like, wow, this kid can really do it. And unfortunately, just it hasn't happened under this coaching regime, and he'll have one more year with the Giants, and we'll see exactly who's coaching him up next year. But I would imagine there's going to be some changes, and hopefully they get him some better players up front to protect him.
Yeah, I mean, I agree with him. I mean, I don't know if it would be identical to Tannehill, who had like the best QB rating in football like 3 years ago.
But obviously have a Derrick Henry back there too.
Yeah, but I do think he would be a much better quarterback on a different team. And just like any player that leaves this team, they're much better. Whether it be Eric Flowers, whoever, everybody performs better when they leave the Giants because they go to better situations. So, I do think if Jones was on a really good team, he could look good.
T. Gerardo, thank you, brother. Appreciate it. Linderbaum's success depends on only himself. Running backs and wide receivers depend on others. In my opinion, positional value depends a lot on the team. It does. Yeah. I mean, I love Linderbaum. I think he can do a lot of good with him.
I mean, I agree with what T said there. Running backs and wide receiver dependent on the offensive line and the quarterback.
Yeah.
But center is not typically a position you draft in the top 10, but I don't care. If you think he's an elite center, take him. We need it, and he can make a big difference for this line.
Agreed. Kevin, thank you for the super chat. Appreciate you. Says rip that turf out and put in natural grass.
We talk about this every year, and too many injuries, and it's too coincidental. It has to have something to do with it. Medical staff as well, I'm sure, has issues, but I'm with you, man. I think that's the first thing they need to change.
Yeah, I agree. Darian P. Yeah, that turf sucks. They got to do something with that. Just put the freaking old ass carpet on there, like you were playing on concrete with a rug. Put that back on there, like they used to have. He says Knicks takes RJ shouldn't get minutes until the second half. Fournier would be the MVP if he only played the Celtics. Yeah, he had the big game in the first game. Burks is overrated. Quickly is insane. Burks was very clutch for him last year.
I like Burks. I'm not going to say Burks is overrated personally. I like Burks. What was the rest of what else did he say? He said Quickly was really good today.
Yeah, Quickly's insane. Fournier would be MVP if he just played the Celtics. And RJ should only get minutes in the second half. Well, RJ got off to a great start against the Pacers. He had like 17 or 19 in the first quarter the other night. In a big game.
RJ put up 32 last game. Fournier put up 41 tonight. He set a team record with 10 3-pointers. He was incredible tonight. But I like Burks. I think Burks is good. I think he's been pretty good for the Knicks this year.
Gee, thank you, brother. Appreciate you. He says, please, 2 offensive linemen back-to-back. I'm not going to have a problem with that if that's what they do.
I think that's what they should do. But again, there's so many different things they can do, but that's my favorite of the options. But there's a lot of things they could do where I'd be happy.
I agree. Rolly, thank you. Appreciate it. Christopher Stop with it was refreshing. What Judges is horrible. I'm going to do some Haitian voodoo and get that fandom out of your system. But you're never going to get the fandom out.
You can't win. You can't win with New York fans. Like, Judge did exactly what the fans want him to do, and they tore him to shreds. So I don't agree with a lot of what he said, but he wasn't a robot anymore. He came out, he showed emotion, he showed you what you wanted him to do. You didn't want him to give robotic answers, and fans tore him to shreds. So if I'm Judge, I'm going to be okay. I'm going to be close-vested from now on. At least that way the mass media is not going to tear me to shreds. And that's why I understand in myself, fans get frustrated with repetitive answers, but that's why coaches are repetitive.
All right. So Sports Greg, thank you for the super chat. I appreciate it. He says just recovering from COVID, but damn, this Giants team hurts my head more than a virus. Do you guys think the Giants could still fire Joe Judge even though reports indicate he'll be back?
I haven't seen any reports recently that said he'll definitely be back.
Anything can happen.
Yeah, I haven't seen a report definitely one way or the other. They initially came out that he was almost certainly going to be back, but it's kind of changed a little bit. If I had to guess, he'll probably be back, but I'm almost like 50-50. I honestly don't know what's going to happen. We'll find out. I definitely thought for sure Shermer would be fired at this point. I don't feel that way right now with Judge, but I could easily see him being fired. It could go either way.
Anthony, thank you, brother. Appreciate it. Is Maris too cheap to buy a lawnmower? Grass? Smoke it. 420 crew. You know what to do. All right. But yeah, listen, that turf is not good. So if they want to bring in a new kind of turf, they want to bring in some sod, they want to put some grass on it, whatever, they've got to change that. That is not, it's not good for players. A lot of players get hurt on that turf, so I would change it. But who am I? Yuri, thank you, brother. Appreciate it. Everyone's a little worried about Linderbaum's weight. Then tell him to go to the deli if he gets drafted by the Giants. Well, if he gets drafted by the Chiefs, he'll whoop ass. You can put on weight. Randy Reed coaching him.
Yeah, exactly. If he shares the Andy Reid diet, he'll gain about 30 pounds.
That's why Creed got so good. Creed isn't big either. He's not tall.
How heavy was Creed? Let me take
Creed might be 300, 310. I think he's like 6'2". He's not a tall guy.
He's about average for a center, 6'2", 6'3". He's actually 6'5", 320.
Oh, is he? Jeez, I didn't realize he was that tall.
Yeah, 6'5".
I never thought he was that tall. He's just he's country strong, man.
Linderbaum is 6'3", 291. So yeah, he is light for a center.
Yeah, I'd take him.
Yeah.
Give me skill over size any day.
I'm with you. He could always pack on 10 pounds of muscle. I'm not worried about it.
Yeah. Listen, anybody can pack on 10 pounds if they want to. It's pretty easy. Roldy,
Yeah.
thank you, brother. Appreciate it. This is Chris. We keep talking about an O-line, which is not a problem. But just like you said, you're not taking a quarterback just to take a quarterback. We can't take an O-lineman just to take one.
You're right. I want to take an O-lineman because that's supposed to be the strength of this draft.
Right.
Tyler Linderbaum is the most highly regarded center in like 20 years. Evan Neal is one of the most highly regarded tackles in a long. Like, there's really good linemen in this draft. Like, that is thought to be one of the big strengths of this draft. Whether it be the kid from NC State, Charles Cross is another guy that a lot of people are talking about. Green, the guard, like all these guys are projected to go in the top half of the first round of the draft. So not only do we need the line, it's the projected best strength of this draft. So
it's a good year for us to draft offensive linemen, and you can't say that about the quarterback class. This is typically considered a weak quarterback class. So
and a weak wide receiver class.
We don't need wide receiver. We don't even need to talk about.
Yeah, I'm just saying.
No, I know. I'm just saying. We don't need to talk about this. Suck. Jesse Green, thank you, brother. Appreciate it. Injured players, carts catch flats with that field. The carts catch flats with that field. You're probably right. They do. Dan Don, thank you for the super chat. Appreciate it. Super Bowl prediction. I don't really have one.
I mean, I should revert back to my preseason prediction. Rams and Chiefs. That's what I said before the year started. I want to pick the Packers. Right now, if you ask me, I think it'll be definitely the Chiefs. The Chiefs out of the AFC, I think they're far and away the favorite. And I think it'll be the Packers or the Rams. I'm going to go with the Rams because I picked the preseason. So I'll go Rams and I'll go Chiefs.
I don't have any prediction. All right. Tutto, grazie, paisano, grazie, salute, Phelps. Just dropped by office to pay our respects and for all Giants Nation. Slap the stinky Eagle losers out the door. Forget about it.
What's up there, Tudo, man? Thanks for popping in, buddy.
Tutto! Hates Eagles more than me. That's even possible. Fresh and Frit, thank you for the super chat. Can the fake fans come back to Giants fandom yet? We're called haters are saying Dave Gettleman and Jones sucks for years, or I guess everyone's a fake fan now. I don't know.
I was looking at his Fresh and Fit t-shirt.
What's that?
I was looking at his t-shirt for Fresh and Fit.
Yeah, it is amazing to me that when you criticize a team that has the worst record in football over the last 5 combined seasons or tied with the Jets, and they have not spent one day over 500 in that 5-year period, and you're pissed off as a fan and you're criticizing for a good reason, some people consider you hated, but it's a minority. I think the majority of Giants fans are pissed off at what's going on here for the last 5 years, and they have every right to be. They have every right to be mad at what this organization has become. So I don't think they're haters. And at the same time, I don't ever get on people that think everything's hunky-dory. People just root differently. People have different personalities.
I don't know why anybody would consider somebody a fake. I mean, we may disagree, but I don't know why anybody. Right. I mean, I'm sure I know people did, but I don't know why. I mean, if somebody's rooting for Dave Gettleman to fail, I don't like that. Rooting for your team, but if you think he sucks, so there's nothing fake about that. That's your opinion.
Yeah, if you didn't like somebody and you root for them to fail, so you could be right. To me, that's not a point.
So that I don't understand. But if you hated Dave Gettleman, you're like, this is not going to work, in my opinion. There's nothing wrong with that. That was your opinion, and you've been proven right. So yeah.
Macaulay Psycho's in the house. Kind of made me laugh. Thank you for the super chat. Appreciate it. Kenny Pickett and Ikem Okwano first round. I don't want Pickett.
I love Okwano. I'd be ecstatic if the Giants ended up with him. He's one of my favorite linemen. But I mean, my opinion will change on the quarterback. I don't think it's gonna. I'm not gonna flip out if they do it because it's probably gonna be a new GM and it's his say. But it's not what I want. I'm open that it's a possibility, but it's not what I want.
Yeah. Anthony Rotza, thank you so much, brother. Appreciate it. Mayor's in the hospital waiting to be seen from swallowing invisible ink. He's trying to disappear, I'm guessing, is what he's saying. It ain't working. Clown Joe must go, and Marisuck's chance must happen at that game on Sunday. Clown Joe must go, but maybe they should just start chanting this. Maybe fans in the stadium should just start doing this. Clown show, clown show, clown show. Maybe that'll get Joe Judge's attention. Who knows? Phil, thank you for the super chat. I hate to give it up, but Philly 500's Eagles reach a playoffs for the Giants. Dumpster fire all around. Bring on Jim Harbaugh. Eagles did a good job. So what happens when you have a competent GM that can make things happen?
Never thought they'd be this good this year. I tip my cap, man. They had a great year.
no. James, thank you for the super chat. The Knicks owner came in tonight. Rams not winning anything with that fraud quarterback. Well, James Dolan would know frauds.
He would. So,
He
James,
would
I'm going to go with you.
You
would.
Fresh and fit, thank you. You didn't have to super chatting. It's not you guys, by the way, love your channels. Thank you. Appreciate that.
Appreciate it, Fresh and Fit. Yeah, man. Listen, man. There's gonna be times I disagree with fans and whatever, but no, man. Anybody that thought they suck, that's an opinion. Your opinion was proven to be right. So
everybody's entitled to their opinion.
Yeah.
And if people think Joe Judge should come back there, I don't agree with it, but they're entitled to their opinion. If they want Joe Judge back, I'm not going to go, you're not a fan, or you're not a fan because you want Joe Judge. But no, like I said, people are different. People have different perspectives on everything, not just sports. So I think a big problem with the generation today is people don't want to listen to other people's opinions. Everybody thinks they're right about everything all the time, and they don't even want to hear the other side. So automatically you can't have a debate with anybody, because as soon as you disagree, they're like, whatever, they fly off the handle.
Yeah.
It is what it is. Or they have to insult you because you disagree. Like they have to insult you. Why they got to do that, I don't know, but it is what it is. Ramir, thank you, brother. Do you think the Giants could possibly sign a free agent bridge quarterback, or at least back of Mike Glennon? I think they'll get a new backup, but I don't think we have a bridge quarterback. It's Daniel Jones, and he's cheaper than a bridge quarterback's going to be.
Let me read it again. Do you think the Giants should possibly sign a free agent bridge quarterback, or at least a better backup? Well, I definitely think they need to sign a better backup, Amir. And what I will say, had Jones not gotten hurt, I might have been open to the bridge idea, because if you could have traded Jones and gotten like a return for Sam Darnold, like a similar return to that, because just for the draft capital alone, you bring in a stopgap for a year, you get your second, fourth, and sixth round pick. That might have made some sense to me. But the fact that Jones went down, I don't think the trade value is going to be there. I think I personally roll with Jones another year, but I definitely bring in a better backup.
Yeah, there's no doubt. We definitely need a better backup for sure. Roldy, thank you, brother. Appreciate it. Says again, I'm with you, Chris. I want I want to know lineman last year's draft. We was on the same page. We both wanted Slater. I want no lineman, but like you said, the draft is crapshoot. We just need to pick the right one. Yeah,
draft's always a crapshoot, regardless of position. Well, quarterback specifically seems to be more of a crapshoot than almost. Well, cornerback definitely. Too. Early cornerbacks a lot of times are busts too, but quarterback specifically is like a huge crapshoot. I did a video on this like a month ago. Like I think it was like only 20% of quarterbacks drafted inside the top 10 were successful over like a 10-year period, because a lot of them go to really bad situations. But quarterback, I mean, how many quarterbacks have gone number one overall or top 3 that have just been complete failures in the NFL? So
yeah.
Quarterback specifically is a crapshoot, and just my personal opinion, Roldy, and everybody's entitled to their own. I'm not taking a shot on a crapshoot if I have a horrible football team,
right?
Especially in a draft where I don't think any of the quarterbacks are going to be viewed as being elite talents. That's just my opinion on the matter.
T, thank you for the super chat. Pick a Kwanu or Karlaftis or Neal and Lindy. I'm guessing for the Bears pick. Neal or Lindy for the Bears.
Yeah. So we saying Kwanu or Karlaftis with the first pick, and then
that's what I'm thinking.
Neal's not getting to the Bears pick. Maybe he meant reverse.
Maybe.
Well, T may think that the Bears picks before the Giants. The Giants picks before the Bears. So I completely agree. Yes, Neal. I would probably prefer Linderbaum with the second pick, but I definitely Neal with the first pick for sure. That would be ideal if the Giants could get him with their first pick.
By the way, we got 600 in here, so thank you so much for spending your Thursday night with us. It's kind of I didn't know when we were going to do this, because I thought Chris was going to be doing the Knicks game tonight. I did, and Saturday I can't do it, and the Knicks play Saturday too, so I was just like, let's do it tonight. And I'm freaking tired, but I'm battling my way through it. But thank you guys so much for being here. You know what to do? Hit the like button, man. Make sure you subscribe to the channel, ring the bell. More importantly, the link to Chris's channel, the Entertaining Talks, was first thing in the description. So make sure you subscribe to him. And, of course, come back on Sunday for the finale when we watch us lose. And the Rangers just got scored on, which freaking sucks. But make sure that you come by for the season finale, because it ought to be a clown show. And that's always a lot of fun. As it quite a hell of a comedy act. All right, let's speak of the clown show. Let me talk about Joe Judge here. So this is my problem with Joe Judge. Joe Judge is the reason I don't like him. And I've been on him since game one when he threw that challenge flag. I have rode this guy all year, because last year he did some nice things, but that's over. This is a what have you done for me lately league. He's a guy that preaches fundamentals and execution, and he didn't know the rules. And I don't care what excuse he makes. He's an excuse maker. I don't like that. He don't take accountability. Chris, my problem with him is he's saying I don't isolate coaches and I don't do this and I don't rip my players. The dude took a shot at Pat Shurmur. He wasn't part of the organization. He don't know what happened with Pat Shurmur.
He took a shot at McAdoo too, as far as I'm concerned, when he talked about players going on vacation.
Right. So the Giants have been a train wreck since he's been the head coach. And he's trying to blame previous coaching staffs for his failures. He takes his shot at Washington and Ron Rivera, who are probably going to just destroy these guys on Sunday. Yeah. Ron Rivera's accomplished more than Joe Judge will ever accomplish in his life, okay, in the NFL. And he takes a side swipe at Washington for what? Talking about fistfights in the sideline. By
the way,
what about the fist fight the Giants had in training camp?
I was about to say, he got into a fist fight with Colombo, right? Or reportedly.
Yeah, but he got in a fist fight with, supposedly they got in a fist fight with Colombo. What about the massive fist fight that the Giants had in training camp amongst themselves?
Yeah.
They had a big blow up.
I don't care about that. But
what's that?
But, yeah, no, it's training camp, though, so I almost expect that.
But they're fighting with each other.
Yeah, yeah.
So, I mean, what is your point?
Here's what I'll say, man. As far as what Judge did, I think I was okay with everything he did except attack the prior coaches. He's trying to defend his job, and even though it's sad that his only real defense, because he can't defend the team's record, he can't come out and use injuries as an excuse. So he used something that can't be measured by the fans. He's saying in the building, we're building something that's going to be great, and that's really the only thing he has to go to. And whatever, he's trying to save his job. That's what he wants to go to. That's what he wants to go to. I'm not going to fault him for that. But when he started going after Pat Shurmur and when he started going after Ben McAdoo, that's a really bad look. That's a bad look. You look like a jerk. And I think that's why the national media went after him as hard as they did. He didn't look good when he did that.
Because he's a liar. And because he can't see, this is the thing. When you're a liar, but you can lie about things that nobody can prove, he can get away with it. He can talk about everything that's going on in the locker room because really the only person he is trying to sell himself to is John Mara. He don't care what I think. He don't care what you think. He don't care what the media thinks. He's trying to fool John Mara because I've said a number of times, and he talked about these pieces in the locker room and all this crap. I'm like, we don't care. That is not our business. I don't care. I would rather have guys having fistfights in the sideline and winning 10, 11 games. I'd rather have that. I'd rather have some dissension in the locker room and put a winning team on the field as opposed to everything's good. And you don't know that everything's good. Oh, and then the other thing, Chris, is what about, I have players from other teams calling me twice a week saying they wish they were Giants. What the hell is that? What the hell is that? That is BS. Who in their right mind goes, God, I wish I was part of the Giants right now. If we were 12-4, I could see it. 4-12, a team that scored 47 meaningful points. We scored 78 points in the last 7 games, and 3 of them touchdowns when we were down 34-3 to Philadelphia and 37-7 to the Chargers. So 21 of them points are garbage. We scored 47 points in the last 7 games, and it mattered most. The Patriots scored 50 on Sunday.
And then the other thing, and he didn't say it, but he kind of did, that the team quit on Shurmur. Like he maybe didn't use those exact. Yeah, he might have not used those exact words.
We won 2 of our last 3 games.
We won 2 of our last 3 games, and in those 3 games, the Giants scored 94 points.
Yeah.
They averaged 31 points a game in those last 3 games. Now, granted, they played inferior opponents, but if the team was quitting, they're not putting up 31 points.
They're not winning.
Said that they lost 9 straight before that. Yeah, they were starting a rookie quarterback. They had no talent on the defense. Like, this defense makes – like, this looks like the 85 Bears defense compared to the talent we had on that defense. Yeah. And we had a rookie quarterback. So, like, we knew they weren't going to win a lot of games that year. That's why we threw Daniel Jones out there after 2 weeks. So, I thought he was wrong in saying that the team basically quit under Shurmur. I think that's false. I think the team competed. I think they fought. And I think it makes them look bad.
As I've said, Joe Judge – and I've said it a number of times, you can keep throwing bodies under the bus. It just slows the bus down. It is going to get you. It's going to get you. The fans don't want to hear about your locker room crap. They don't want to hear about the team because when you're sitting there saying this team hasn't quit and you're getting beat 29-3 and you have minus 10 passing yards. You and I had 10 more passing yards than the Giants. All 650 people in the chat had 10 more passing yards than the Giants. I know it's Mike Glennon. I get that a lot of our receivers are hurt. It doesn't. How the hell do you have? You had as many turnovers as completions. You had more turnovers than points. Don't talk to me about, oh, this team's fighting hard. And the other thing, Chris, that I'll say is Joe Judge was talking about how, they come in here, they work their butt off. They're doing extra things and they're doing this and they're doing everything they're asked. If they're doing everything that they're asked and they're this bad, there's a problem with the coaching. There's a problem with the way he coaches the players. Because if they are not, if they're trying as hard as he's saying they're trying and they're doing everything that they're being told to do, and you're getting beat 29-3 with minus 10 passing yards, there's an issue with the coach. I think that speaks volumes. They're trying, they're doing this, we're fighting, and you're getting demolished by a team that had 5 wins all year going into the game. He don't know what the hell he's doing. He's delusional, man.
To me, you can make excuses at least. Like you can make, I think it's fair. I'm not saying I agree with it, but it's fair to come up with excuses because Glennon's the quarterback, the offensive scheme, they changed play callers midseason, the offensive line's banged up. But where you can't make an excuse for Joe Judge. What was Joe Judge known for when he came to this team?
Special teams.
Special teams. The special teams the last 3 or 4 weeks have been god awful. Farrell Cooper let a ball go over his head on the 3-yard line on a kickoff.
Yep.
Like, what? And yes, the players need to take some responsibility, but this has been a consistent theme all year. Like, there's been several boneheaded plays on special teams. So that, to me, is a fair criticism on Joe Judge more than anything else. And that's supposed to be his strength coming in here as the head coach for the New York Giants. The offense has been horrible. Yes, some fans may say it's the scheme, it's Garrett, it's all the injuries, and I understand all that. But for me, it was a bad look. The one thing I really did not like him saying was when he started to take shots at the coaches. It was just a really bad idea. And I think that was rehearsed. You don't speak for 11 minutes straight without knowing that you're going to come out and what you're going to say. You know what I'm saying? I think that was rehearsed. I think Judge, he was bottled up. He was getting frustrated. And it's basically like when we're on YouTube, the trolls got the best of him. Like It was like the Giants fans and the media kept going after Judge, and it probably would have been smarter to keep doing what he was doing. The trolls got the best of him, and he said, I'm going to come out and I'm going to let them hear it this week, and I'm going to voice my frustration. And it made him.
I think that him taking a swipe at the former 2 coaches because they both got fired after 2 years, and he's trying to say that even though our results are the same as the previous 2 coaches, this is different. So I deserve another chance. And I think that, again, these guys aren't even here and he's throwing the bodies under the bus. The guy will do anything to save his own ass. And he's, and the other thing he's saying is, we're only focused on this day. And I think it was Ryan Clark that said this when he and Orlovsky went off on him. Said he's talking about how we're only focused on this week. We're focused on this week. And yet he's talking about players coming in there and saying they want to be here in March. You can't have it both ways. If you're focused on this, you're not talking about next year already. Yeah. So that's he's a BSer, man. And I don't like it. And I've looked at these players and I don't see any players getting better under this man. I don't see any of these players elevating their game. I've seen a lot of players regress. I've seen barely any. You want to talk about Andrew Thomas? Fine. Andrew Thomas was rookie that dealt with a foot injury the entire season last year. So he got better. No. You want to say McKinney? McKinney played 4 games. What do we really know about Xavier McKinney? Who else? Jones? Definitely not. Did Galladay come over here and do better than they did in Detroit? No. Definitely not. Sterling Shepard, did he get any better? No. Did Evan Ingram get any better? No. Did anybody else get any better? Did Barkley get any better?
I would say last year, but most of the credit went to Graham last year, not this year. Bradbury had a career year. Martinez had a career year. But this year, and there's been a lot of injuries, but no, there's not been, outside of Andrew Thomas, there's not been anybody that's elevated their game.
He's not.
And I can think of off the top of my head. I mean, maybe there's a player that I'm not thinking of, but
he's not coaching these guys up. He's not a good coach. He's just not a good coach. He's a good talker. He's not a good coach. Yeah. When he went off the script, he screwed himself pretty good.
Rolly just Rolly, whatever.
I'll get to it. I'm going to get to these now. Jeffy, thank you. Now that I went off my tangent there, my rant. Jeffy, thank you, brother. He says, get the clown music ready for the. Yeah, we're going to need the clown music for sure on Sunday. That's going to be brutal. The Ted that shouldn't be. Thank you, brother. Appreciate it. Since 1967, the Giants have made the playoffs only 16 times and missed 38 times. Ownership has had a bad record. I don't expect the ownership to beat those odds. One can only hope.
Since 1967, they've only made the playoffs 60 times and missed 38 times. Yeah, alphabet. I mean, the Giants overall as an organization, they've only had 2 good spurts, really, when you really think about it. They've had like 2 really good, like 7-year stretches, 7-8-year stretches in their existence, and a couple of years here and there throughout. They've been far from a consistent football team in the post Super Bowl era. But this is as bad as it's ever been. I mean, as bad as it's been. I mean, we are literally the worst team in football over the last 10 years. So something needs to change. Yeah. And I understand where the venom's coming from. And I'm usually a guy that tries to calm fans, because I know New York fans are reactionary. Everybody can tell you that. We're the most reactionary and over-the-top fans there are because we love our teams. And a lot of times people don't think with their heads. But you know what? I think people have a right to be reactionary right now. And the main reason why I've gotten on board with moving on from Judge is because I think it prevents you from bringing in the best GM possible. I really believe that. And I don't believe in fitting a GM around Joe Judge. I don't agree. We've done this countless times where we forced these guys to do things before they took the job that we shouldn't be doing. We forced Eli Manning on Dave Gettleman. Mistake. And several other things. So
they forced him on Ben McAdoo in 2017. Yeah. So, they forced him to keep him.
So to me, and again, if the GM has full say and he wants to keep Judge, I won't say say a word, but he needs to make that decision. And if I'm being honest, if I'm a GM coming from the outside and I have no connection to Judge, why would I keep Judge?
Yeah. It doesn't make sense.
Why would I keep Judge? So that's why I've gotten on board with it.
It's not what's best for the team to keep him if we get a new GM. Let the GM decide.
Yeah.
Zuhaib, thank you, brother. Appreciate it. He says, guys, if a quarterback isn't being pre-hyped by now, he's likely not the value at the position or he's a bust. Plus, that philosophy doesn't match advanced numbers according to the position we're in. O-line heavy. Yeah, I'm all about the O-line. I'm not about a quarterback this year. I am definitely about an offensive lineman, though. A couple offensive linemen and a defensive lineman or N'Kobe Dean. I'd be happy with that, too.
There's going to be a quarterback that moves up. It happens every draft.
It does.
Yeah, there's going to be a quarterback that blows people away at the combine. Maybe it'll be Carson Strong. Maybe it'll be Malik Willis. I don't know. And they'll move up. It'll happen. It happens every draft. It happened with Blake Bortles. Nobody had him going anywhere near where he went. He had a great combine. Somebody's going to do it.
Yeah, no doubt. Tutto, grazie. He says, I told Chris earlier to be patient and faithful with Coach Thibs. That dude knows his players. In his game, he'll pull it off. Tibbs does. They fight for him. I say it all the time. The Knicks are fighters. They were fighters last year, too. They got behind in a lot of games. They got behind in the season. They were pretty bad at the beginning of the year. And then they had a great second half because they play defense. That's how they won this. Obviously, that's how they won the second half. The Celtics had 67 points at the half, and they only scored 42 in the second half. So
yeah, I mean, I'm with you, man. I love Tibbs. There's a lot of things you can complain about in terms of his rotations and everything else, but one thing he can is he gets his players to play hard for him.
Yeah, but only our football coach could do that. And if they do, like I said, if they do play hard for him and they're this bad, and again, the turnovers and the inability to field the kick and the punter kicking the ball 27 yards and all the other crap that they do, it's just nothing good. They don't do anything good. Jay, thank you for the super chat. Instead of calling Joe Judge joke, instead of calling Joe Judge joke Jude, instead let's call him choke fudge with the garbage he's done. There's a lot of names you can call Clown Joe. Tons. But said, start that chant. Joe must go. Mara sucks. Or he can just do the whole clown show. Clown show. I'll get him. Joe likes that. The one thing I did like that he said every one of them fans has the right to boo my ass at a stadium. And you should. You should let him hear it. Yeah, you should.
I mean,
that was the best thing that he said. That was the most honest thing that he said.
He didn't need to invite fans to do that. They're going to do it anyway. But
I know, but that was the most honest thing that I said.
Yeah. I mean, he said a lot of things that I thought were honest, but there was a handful of things where I was like, not a good idea.
Not in that rant.
Yeah. Not a good idea. Not a good idea.
Who do you think he's calling him? You think Wayne Gallman's calling him going, hey, I wish I was their coach?
If I had to guess, I would have Dalvin Tomlinson.
Galvin Tomlinson? You
That
think
would
him?
be my guess. That would be
Even though he's on a competitive team, is it? Oh, I really wish I was.
Yeah, I'm not. Yeah, he's been here for a while. He was a homegrown Giant. He was a captain. That would be my guess. I don't think he's lying. I think there's been a player or two that probably said, "I wish I was still there." But that doesn't mean anything to me. You know, that doesn't. I think at the end of the day, Baddog fans, we've heard culture. We could buy into the culture thing for a year or two, but this has now been 4 years of culture. Yeah. When they first said the culture, I'm like, yeah, we need a culture change. The locker room's a mess. The team completely quit on Ben McAdoo.
It did.
That was clearly apparent.
It was.
We needed to start over. We needed to bring a good locker room, guys. We needed to clean up the culture. But it's been 4 years that we've been getting the word culture jammed down our throats. And at this point, we're sick of culture, and I understand it. We want results and
win.
Now,
winning builds culture, man.
I'll be fair with this team, with all the injuries. I can't judge him on his wins and losses. I can't. Not since Jones went down and with everybody that's been hurt. I got to be as fair as I can.
We were terrible with Jones.
But there's still
even worse
within the game, like the special teams, like I said, it's bad. And like you said, when we were completely healthy, getting off to that 0-3 start, another thing that I really didn't like from Judge before the year started was when he said going in at the start of the year. Like his first year, I'm like, okay, understandable. Pandemic, no preseason games. Understandable that the first 3 or 4 games are almost an extension of the preseason. But for him to say that going into this year, after you had a full season, no, you should be just as prepared as everybody else. He came out and said, yeah, we're going to use these first couple of weeks to get into gear. And I'm like, when he said that, I was like, wow. The first 3 games.
You know what he should have done, Chris? Play his damn starters in the preseason.
Well, that
he didn't do.
But I was like, when you looked at our schedule, I was like, the first 3 games, we got to go 2-1.
Yeah.
You got Denver home, you got Washington, you got Atlanta at home, and the schedule gets much tougher after that. And for him to come out and say, yeah, we're going to struggle a bit, and maybe paraphrasing a bit to start the season, wasn't very good. And I understand that they were rushing to pick up offensive linemen before the year started and everything else. And I know that Golladay was out throughout training camp, but that's not something you want your head coach to say.
No, definitely not. Definitely not, because he's treating those games count.
Yeah,
you can't be like, yeah, we're going to use it. No, to me he was already had a built-in excuse. He already had one, so I don't like that at all. The guy's an excuse maker. I don't make excuses. The players don't make excuses; they make plays. The coach, he's just not a good coach. His demeanor sucks. Whatever the hell he's doing in there ain't working. There's, like I said, there's been 2 firings now under his watch. He's taken shots at former coaches, took shots at Washington. For what? Just to protect his own ass. He cares about himself. He don't care about anybody else. It's pretty obvious the way he comes across. Yeah. And of course, he's going to defend his players because they're the ones that are going to play for him. But there's no results. You need results in this league. Results are all that matters. Results are all that matters. Carlos is Vince. Thank you, brother. Appreciate it. Giants should draft Neal or Cross for right tackle. Take Aquanu as a guard. He still has the ability to play tackle in case of injury. Kenyon Green also has the same ability. We need these versatile guys.
Dude, if we get Aquanu and Neal, oh my God. I might like Aquanu more than Neal. If you get both of those guys, I'd be friggin' jumping through hoops on draft night. Please. I'd be ecstatic if we got that.
Yeah. I'm still a Linderbaum guy for sure. Judge's Disciples is in the house. Thanks, sir. He says, you guys had it out for Daniel Jones from day one. Now you turn on Judge. Get us a smart GM, and Daniel will throw 40 touchdowns. That's why Fisk was right about y'all. Listen.
I don't know. Judge's Disciples must not watch my channel because I've been criticized all year for being a Daniel Jones apologist. Yeah. I hated the Daniel Jones pick on draft night. I came around. I went as far to say that I thought he could have a really good year this year. And I've tried my best to support Daniel Jones. And I still try my best to support Daniel Jones. But it comes to a point where you have to be honest. Daniel Jones missed 10 starts in his first 3 years. He's missed at least 2 games each of his first 3 years in the NFL. Daniel Jones has 10, 11 wins to his name, whatever it is. And it's not all his fault. We just said it earlier in the stream. If Daniel Jones was on a really good team, I think he'd be a good quarterback. I think he's got tools to be a good quarterback. But at the end of the day, it's a results-driven business, and it's a sport. How in the world can you commit a second contract to Daniel Jones right now. Let's even take the performance out of it. With the injury problems that this guy has had, he's missed 10 games and he hasn't been himself for another 2 due to the injuries. So in 3 years, the guy's played 49 games. 25% of those games, he's been limited due to injury. How in the world can you commit a second contract to this guy? And that's not even taking into account his performance, which, yes, I recognize the team around him doesn't help. But as fans say, you look at a guy like Joe Burrow. Joe Burrow's coming in, and I know he's got a really good supporting cast. He hasn't had injuries. Joe Burrow is one of the top 5 players for MVP in his second year, coming off the injury that he came off of last year. Daniel Jones has not proven to be able to elevate the team. That's just the cold hard facts, and maybe fans don't want to hear that. But that's how I feel, and I hope he proves me wrong. I'm a fan. But I have never been a guy. I could have easily stayed on my take with Daniel Jones. Easily could have stayed on my take with Daniel Jones, and I could have rubbed it in people's faces. Didn't do that. I came out and I backed up Daniel Jones. I tried to support Daniel Jones. I tried to give him as much of an opportunity as I felt like was as fair as I possibly could as a fan. It comes to a point where you can't keep doing that. You can't just think like a fan all the time when you're trying to be objective on YouTube. And that's my take on Jones. And I think Daniel Jones can be a really successful quarterback somewhere. Yeah. But the fact of the matter is, Baddog, we've had the 31st and the 32nd ranked offense the last 2 years.
Yep.
Blame it on the scheme? Sure. The scheme sucks. Blame it on the offensive line? Sure. The offensive line sucks. Blame it on the weapons? Sure. Last year, the weapons sucked. This year, the weapons have all been hurt. But at the end of the day, if he was an elite quarterback, that offense ain't 31st and 32nd. That's
Correct.
just the cold, hard truth.
Saying you have it out for someone from day one, just because you don't like the pick, don't mean you don't want them to succeed. That's one of the worst takes I've ever heard from anybody that's tried to troll my channel. Yeah, I didn't like the pick. It was pretty obvious. I don't know many Giants fans that enjoyed taking a quarterback from Duke 6th overall when the guy was a 0-star prospect, came from Duke, and nobody had him anywhere as close to the 6th overall pick. But as soon as we got him, I know I was one of the first people to say Danny Dimes. I know I was one of the first people, thanks to OGR, I was one of the first people to sport a Daniel Jones jersey. And I'm pretty sure that I made a video going as far as to say that I think he could be better than Dak Prescott. So don't tell me I had it out for Daniel Jones since day one. But when I watch a quarterback regress from his rookie season to a second season and then regress even farther back his third season and have a serious neck injury, hard to have faith in him going forward and giving him quarterback money on a second contract, like Chris said. As far as Joe Judge goes, yeah, I'm going to turn on a coach that's 10-23. He's not the coach of the job. Plain and simple. I don't give a damn. I don't give a damn what you sound like. I don't care how you talk. I don't care. I want results. I am not a guy that sits there and listens to people talk. Talk is freaking cheap. Anybody can talk. I'm a good talker too. I can't be a head coach in the NFL. Okay? I can talk my way through a press conference, but I'd be just as bad as him on the field. It's plain and simple. He doesn't get his players to perform. Nobody steps up. Where's the leader? What is the identity? What the hell is our identity? What is our identity here? A head coach should have a team with an identity. The Giants should have an identity. The only identity the Giants have is getting their ass embarrassed every week. That's not the identity I want. You appreciate that? You love Jones? You think he's great? Awesome. I don't feel that way. I don't know what Fisk has to do with any of it, to be honest with you. I don't know why you even brought him up.
I saw a couple of people in the chat say, I don't think Daniel Jones regressed. I don't think Daniel Jones regressed either. I just don't think he's improved enough for me to say I think this guy could be the franchise quarterback. I got to be as fair as I can. I think he's improved in certain aspects of his game.
But he doesn't fumble as much.
I think if you're honest, I think the first 4 games this year, Jones looked pretty good. The Washington game, he looked really good. The Saints game, he looked really good. And then we had a lot of injuries against the Cowboys. I understand it. But he has not shown me enough for me to be like, yeah, I'm in. No, he hasn't. And I
said before, everything around him isn't good. Yeah. But it's speculation to think that he'd be an elite quarterback or top 8 quarterback to get that kind of money if things were better around him. You don't know. You can speculate about it all you want.
And I got to be fair, Baddog. I was a guy that came out and said, and I still think this, by the way, and Dak's a very good quarterback, I would not have extended Dak. So if I'm a strict guy when it comes to giving a quarterback a second contract, how can I say that I would give Daniel Jones a second contract? Quarterbacks don't win Super Bowls on second contracts more often than not. You have to be the best of the best of the best. And my objective as a fan is to have a team that can win a championship. And yeah, if I can improve the team around Daniel Jones, and I hope he goes out there next year and he's incredible. And then I can say, all right, let's go forward with this guy. But for me, next year, there's no excuses if he comes back as a star. Not only does he need to be vastly improved, he has to be top 7, 8 quarterback in the league for me to contemplate giving him a second contract. I'm not committing 15% of my salary cap to an average quarterback or even a slightly above average starting quarterback. You don't win championships in the NFL that way.
No, you don't. Judges Disciples, thank you again. He says, Daniel Jones is the best. Now I know he's just trolling. Daniel Jones is the best thing that ever happened to the Seattle franchise. He's already shown more than Eli. I don't need to read anymore. I don't even need to read anymore. I'm not even reading the rest of that. As soon as you say that the guy's shown more than
the problem, though, Baddog, with these, and listen, everybody's entitled to their opinion. But the problem, you hear this all the time from people, because they look at the stats. They look at the stats and they don't take into account the difference in era. Do me a favor for everybody that says, Daniel Jones has a better QB rating. Daniel Jones has a better this. Daniel Jones has a better that. First off, back in Eli's day, a good completion percentage was like 58 to 60%. Now it's like 67 to 70%. But look where Eli Manning ranked the touchdown passes back in his day. You know where Eli Manning ranked the touchdown passes his second year in the league? 3rd. You know where Eli Manning ranked the touchdown passes like his first 5 years in the league? Top 5, top 6. The New York Giants had an offense that was ranked between 3 and 10 his first 7 years in the league outside of his rookie season. You can't just look at stats because the game changes over time. Daniel Jones is not close to Eli Manning. And anybody that says that didn't watch Eli Manning play. Yes, I recognize that Eli Manning had a much better support system. But Eli Manning was a very good quarterback, and situational football matters. Eli Manning is one of the best 2-minute drill quarterbacks I've ever seen in the history of football, okay? Tell me the last time Daniel Jones put the team on his back in a 2-minute situation. And I recognize he's got a bad support system. But don't tell me that Daniel Jones has accomplished more than a 2-time Super Bowl winning quarterback who knocked off Tom Brady twice. Daniel Jones, how many winning quarterbacks has Daniel Jones beaten his entire career? Carr? Are you kidding me? It's ridiculous.
Yeah, I don't know how you can compare a guy that's missed. Eli Manning didn't miss one game his entire career to injury. Daniel Jones already missed 10 in 3 years. How can you possibly compare him to Eli Manning? I don't even understand.
Dalia, I will agree with that. New York was ready to run Eli out of town after 3 seasons. I will agree with that. But to say that he's already accomplished more than Eli is the stupidest statement I've ever heard in my life. Yeah. I will agree with that. And I will even go as far to say, Dalia, that if Eli Manning was put into the same situation Daniel Jones was put in to start his career, Eli Manning might not make it. I'll be honest with that as well. I think the New York Giants completely failed Daniel Jones. But Daniel Jones has not accomplished 1/1000th of what Eli Manning accomplished in his career.
Yeah.
Not 1/1000th.
Nobody's saying Daniel Jones is in a good situation. He's not. But it doesn't matter. You can't say he's accomplished more than Eli. How? Eli Manning's the greatest quarterback in the history of this franchise.
Eli Manning's a Hall of Fame quarterback.
You took a guy, like I said, you're taking this kid from Duke who was throwing 21 touchdowns in his last, how many games did he play last year? 14? And how many games did he play this year? How many games did he play?
Jones, he's going to miss 6 games, so he played 11.
Okay, so he played 11 games, 10 and a half.
Yeah.
Okay, so 24 games, he's throwing 21 touchdowns. I don't know how he's accomplished more than Eli. So it's hard. That's just, I don't understand that statement. That's just a guy being a troll, or like you said, is like 12 and doesn't know anything about Eli Manning. Will J, thank you, brother. Appreciate it. Each year we're supposed to take a step up, but go backwards every time. Is that a player thing or a coaching issue or organization failure? Story's been real. It's on the organization. We've had different coaches, we have different GMs, we have different coordinators, we have different players, and they all fail. It's the inability of the scouting department to put the right players in the right spots. They don't have an identity. I don't think the Giants really have a plan as to what the hell they want to do in the draft. It doesn't seem like that to me. It really doesn't. So yeah. I got to go with it's an organization as a whole because they haven't brought in the right coaches, coordinators, players, free agents. None of it's worked.
I think it's a combination of several things. I definitely think the coaching's been a major issue. I think the way that they've built the team has been a major issue. Drafting running backs number 2 overall before you have an offensive line, well, not a good idea. Obviously, they tried to do both in the same offseason, but it failed. Drafting a quarterback that was not thought to be an elite quarterback prospect before you have a team that could support him, and you trade away his best weapon in Odell Beckham. Probably not a good idea to draft a quarterback that year. So I think it's the organization has not built the team properly for a lot of these guys to come in and succeed as well.
Yeah, that's what I mean, because I don't feel like they have direction. I feel like they just kind of threw darts and said, we want this guy, but they haven't really put anything together because players have to play off of one another too. You have to find guys that mesh well. And these guys, again, because this has happened over such a long period of time, I had to have a tendency to blame the organization. It's just amazing that they haven't been able to hit on like anything as far as coaching goes or getting the most out of these players or winning any damn games. And it also is amazing to me how many damn injuries we deal with year in and year out. The amount of injuries that this team has, it's ridiculous on a consistent basis. John, thank you, brother. Appreciate it. He says, if Joe Judge is back in the stadium, will be empty in 2022. That's a fact. We season ticket holders will not renew. Excuse me. If Mara hires Joe Judge, GM, does that mean Joe Judge is safe for additional years? If we start 0-6, is he safe?
I don't think he's safe no matter what. If they bring him back, I don't think he's safe next year. I don't think they're going into next year. I don't care what they do at the GM, unless they made him the GM. I don't think he's safe under any circumstance because they could easily move on from Judge. I say it all the time in my videos, but it's because it's home and you hear about it on sports radio all the time. The Jets did the same thing. They brought in a GM while they still had a head coach that had ties to him. They fired Adam Gase the next year. So if they bring back Joe Judge and the team struggles next year, I think he's gone. I think next year would be his last opportunity to get this team going down the right path.
PJ, thank you, brother. Appreciate it. I feel like that rant made him look narcissistic. Well, he is. He is a little bit narcissistic.
I mean, I don't know.
Narcissists can't admit they're wrong. They have a hard time with that.
What I took out of it was, one, I think he's starting to feel the heat in terms of that he's scared that it's potential. He could lose his job, and he's trying to speak up for himself, and he's trying to speak to the fan base, and he's trying to speak to Mara. And I think he finally let the media and the fans and everything get to him. And I think it showed. I don't know if it came up narcissistic or not, but it just, I think it was a lot of frustration that was built up, vented, and he let it go out in an 11-minute rant. And you got to show, you got to show some more control as a coach. And I know, listen, that's easier for me to say, right? Because I'm just a guy on YouTube. I don't have to deal with millions of people ragging on me day after day after day, making fun of my press conferences. So I understand it.
No, you just got Roldy.
Yeah, I got Roldy. But you got to be more.
Love you, Roldy. Right?
If you're a head coach of the football team, you got to be more controlled.
Yeah, well, that's all right. I just wish he would. My thing with Joe Judge is he doesn't need to throw the players under the bus. He doesn't need to name players individually. But he needs to say is we need it. I just want to hear. I don't want to hear, well, obviously it wasn't good enough today. I want to hear what they need to do to get better. And it should improve. It should also include the coaches, what they need to do. I don't want to hear, just tell me, I want to hear, I need to do a better job as head coach. I have to do a better job of preparing these guys to play and getting them to do what we need to do to win games. That's all you need to say.
Yeah.
And you'll get respect. That's it. Oh, take some ownership for the fact that the team is bad. You don't need to go, Leonard Williams really disappointed, or not Leonard Williams. Kenny Galladay's been a big disappointment this year. We paid him all this money, he hasn't scored a touchdown. You don't need to say that. Just say, we're not doing enough. And us as coaches, me as the head coach, I have to take a step back. I got to look at myself and go, what do I need to do to make the team better? What can I do? What do I have to change? Just take some accountability for the fact that you're a terrible football team. Then, yeah, players are injured, Chris. I don't care. You can't lose 29-3 and have minus 10 yards passing. I don't care who the hell's playing quarterback. And if it's that bad, why the hell ain't Fromm in there? I mean, what do you have to lose? Now, not the Fromm was awful, but holy Jesus. I mean, you can't be worse than Glennon.
Yeah.
You can't be worse than that. I don't know. It's just a bad season. Jay, thank you, brother. Appreciate it. I don't like the chant Joe must go. That's from back in 1989 when the Jets had Joe Walton as coach. They said Joe must go. Let's chant choke fudge. I don't care what you chant. Joe must go. I like clown show. Or Mara sucks. It's a good one, too. Macaulay Psycho, thank you, brother. Dave Gettleman should be arrested on Monday for stealing from the Giants. You're right.
Yeah, I think a report came out right before we went live. I saw that he's going to retire. The only thing that I said it in my video, the only thing that makes any because I'd fire him, obviously. I know the fans want him fired. They don't want him to go out gracefully with a retirement. The only thing that makes sense to me, other than the Giants just doing what they typically do and being a classy organization, is it, maybe Mara's like, we don't want to embarrass this guy because we know we're going to be interviewing a lot of these GM candidates and we don't want to make, we don't want to make it look like we tried to embarrass the previous GM while we're bringing in these guys for an interview. That's the only thing that makes sense to me. I, as a fan, I personally don't care. It's semantics to me. Move on.
He's
if they
gone,
want to do it in a classy way, whatever. They're going to replace the guy. We're going to find out on Monday.
I agree. By the way, we got almost 800 people in here. So thank you for watching the regular season finale of Chris and the Baddog. Do us a favor. Hit the like button. Helps out the stream. Subscribe to our channel. Ring the bell. More importantly, make sure you go into the description. Link to the Entertainer Talking Sports is over there. I'm sure we'll do this show next week, and then I don't really know the plans. Obviously, when we're out of it and there's not much to talk about, probably take like a few weeks off, maybe Super Bowl or something. We'll do a week there or whatever. Chris and I do plan on doing Championship Sunday together like we do every year, where one does the AFC game on his channel, the other one does the NFC game. So we'll do that. Chris may do playoff games. I'm not going to do any playoff games myself. I want my weekends free as much as they can be because the Giants aren't there. But appreciate you being here. And like I said, hit the like and all that good stuff. Donovan, thank you for the super chat. He says, fun fact, my high school principal was a graduate assistant for Michigan State football back in 2005. Very cool. Very interesting.
Cool.
Anthony Ratza, thank you so much. Upgrade to large soda on Sunday. Yeah, rah, Mara. This soda.
They should give a lifetime supply of soda to season ticket holders for the Giants with what they put them through the last 10 years.
The soda thing was hilarious.
Yeah, I mean, I don't know if that's like a yearly thing and it just became a big deal this year because just how well they've been horrible the last 3 or 4 years. So maybe it's not a regular thing because people probably would have made fun of it the previous years as well. But it was bad. And then when you find out the specifics that
it's the guy in the account.
Yeah, it wasn't for every season ticket holder because most people are not going to get season tickets by themselves.
Yeah,
most people are going to get 2 or 4 together or whatever. Just the name on the account got one.
Yeah,
so it was even worse. So it was even embarrassing.
I hope they at least got if you had 3 season tickets. I hope they at least gave you 3 straws.
Maybe they give you like one of those. When you go to the movies and they give you that small cup to share with everybody. Maybe they did one of those.
Maybe they did. Darian, thank you, brother. Appreciate it. In my opinion, no benefit for Joe Judge. Next year, we're probably going to be trashed, and Judge is going to know that he has to win, so he's going to rush the process to save his ass. Yeah, Chris.
Yeah, I mean that's we'll see. I mean, I agree. I think that's a fair concern. I've said that there, on my stream. So if I'm Judge, I got if I'm putting, I can't just think as a Giants fan. If I'm judging them back next year, I have to think about my well-being. I have to try to win. I have to do everything in my power to make this team as good as I possibly can next year, which some fans are going to love to hear. But at the same time, you don't want to potentially hurt your future to, help yourself in the present because we saw what happened with that in 2018.
Brody, thank you. Appreciate it. He says, Chris, stop selling some of this fan base short. Not all of us are reactionary. Some understand how bad this team was for a long time now. So pleased with that. Enough with the injury excuses too.
I'm not even being insulting to anybody. I'm just saying that New York fans are passionate. I'm passionate. You saw I reacted to Daniel Jones on draft night. We're all passionate. We love our team. And sometimes when you have 3 or 4 days to cool off, you think more level-headed. That's all I'm saying. I'm not trying to insult anybody, Roldy. I know that you think I'm always trying to insult people. I'm not trying to insult
the heat of a battle.
Yeah, the heat of a battle.
That happens all the time. And again, I'm a competitive guy, and I'm not out there playing, but it's my team. I want my team to win. I root for that team. I'm competitive. I want my team to win. I want to be able to say my team's the best. That's why I'm the way I am. Oh, well, it's a personality thing. What can you do? Like I said, I know some people think they're perfect. Their lives are perfect. They never make a mistake. Anybody thinks that is full of BS. It's just not true. Payne Manning with wheels. Name of the super chat. Joe Burrow's line is ranked 28th. The Giants is ranked 25th. And then to put a thank you again. Appreciate. He says O-line's not an excuse. Jones is trash. Enough now.
Yeah.
He has, I think, like I said this till I'm blue in the face. I believe physically he has very good tools. I believe physically he can be a good quarterback in the NFL. And I believe that the processing speed is too slow. I don't know if that has to do with the Giants' play calling, his lack of confidence in the offensive line. I don't know what the deal is. Maybe if he was in a different scheme, he'd be better at that. But he seems to always be a one-read quarterback. He stares down the receivers, and that gets him in trouble. And when he gets nervous, he starts patting the ball. And that's his pocket awareness hasn't gotten better. He may have been able to hold on to the ball a little bit better, but he doesn't slide up in the pocket. He's good. He can run when the play's assigned to run, but how many times does he actually scramble out of the pocket and get yards? It's not often.
I just got to comment on this because I know he's probably just trying to get a reaction, but I just pulled it up just to show people what I said earlier. And again, I want to say not everything's equal, and you can't just look at stats on a year-to-year basis, but I keep seeing a guy in the chat. There it is. Flash says Jones is better than Manning. 2005. Eli Manning's second year in the league, Baddog. Second year in the league. And he didn't start a full season the year before. He started a half a season. I'm going to name the quarterbacks that had more touchdowns than Eli Manning. Carson Palmer, Peyton Manning, Tom Brady. That's it. Second year in the league. That's it. He was fourth in touchdown passes, and he was behind Peyton Manning and Tom Brady being two of them. Third year in the league. I'm going to name the quarterbacks that he was behind in touchdown passes. Peyton Manning, Carson Palmer, Drew Brees. That's it. He was fourth in touchdown passes each of his first two full years as a starter in the NFL. For people that say he was horrible, he was fourth in touchdown passes, and he was behind Peyton Manning for two of the, he was fourth, and Peyton Manning was ahead of him both of those years, and Brady and Drew Brees. So it's a joke. Like, learn your history. It's a joke.
Yeah, it is. Judge's disciples saying, "You cry me river." Danny doesn't deserve y'all fans. Don't worry. He's not going to have to worry about us fans. He ain't going to be here in a couple of years. So, he don't need to worry about us fans at all. At all. Payne Manning with wheels saying, "You really appreciate trade Daniel Jones and sign Dalton for a 3-year deal." Well, I don't think they're trading Jones. I don't think they're trading Jones. That's what I said. I think Jones is a stopgap. Get him an offensive line. Let's see what the hell he does. Get him an offensive coordinator that can work to his skill set. That's the other thing, Chris. I don't think that these guys that are coaching Daniel Jones, I don't think that they allow him to succeed. I think they hold him back. And that's what I'm talking about with the coaching. That's why I don't like Joe Judge. I feel like they don't allow him to open up. Also, how many damn times has Joe Judge been so conservative? This conservative crap, they can say it's Garrett, they can say it's Kitchens, but it all goes through him. And how many times, Chris, are we in enemy territory? 4th down and 3 from the 45, 4th down and 1, 4th down and 3 from the 39. Punt the ball. The ball. Down 14-3 to the Bears at the 47, 4th and 3. They punt the ball. You're 4-11. Why don't you go for it? What is that? This is my biggest problem with Joe Judge.
That's one thing we were pretty critical of from the start of the year. We didn't like how conservative he was as a head coach at times. The play calling, I don't know if it's on him or on Garrett or Kitchens, but in terms of his decision making on 4th and 1s early in the year, it didn't make a whole lot of sense. Now, you could certainly say probably doesn't have a lot of trust in his offense, but in the NFL in today's NFL, if you can't trust your offense on a 4th and 1, you're not going to win very many games. You see Taylor Heineke. I watch Washington games all the time. Taylor Heineke, they're going for it on their own side of the field, 4th and 1.
Yeah.
That is something that I don't like with Joe Judge.
Yeah. Sean, thank you for the super chat. Appreciate it. He says, "Wait, Jones already has 2 Super Bowl MVPs." Troll alert. That happens. The other thing I mentioned, Saquon Barkley in his career, he finally got over 100 yards last week for the first time in years. Daniel Jones is not the quarterback. And I made this point. He had a massive rookie season with Eli Manning, getting everybody needing, being able to read the defense and set up everybody in the best possible position. And Saquon Barkley, his second year, dealt with a high ankle sprain. But he had 4 100-yard games his second season, and 3 of them were with Eli Manning at quarterback. Eli Manning quarterback 4 games the entire season. So those are just intangibles that don't show up in the box score. And that's the type of thing you need to look at when you're looking at Eli Manning. Things that he could do like that Daniel Jones has not proven he can do. Maybe someday he learns it. But to say he's better than Eli Manning already, it's a farce. Jeremiah, thank you, brother. Appreciate it. He says, I'm not an Eli guy, but come on, son. Yeah, that's an Eagle fan. So, Winner Circle, thank you so much. Appreciate you. Says, I know you hate both, but what team would you like to see eliminated first? I'd like to see Philadelphia eliminated first. But hopefully they get eliminated on the same weekend. That'd be awesome.
Yeah, I'll say I dislike Philly more. I hate both. I dislike Philly more. I'd actually rather see Dallas eliminated. If you told me going into wild card weekend, which team, if only one's going to get eliminated, would you rather see get eliminated? I'd say Dallas, only because I think Dallas is an actual threat to potentially go to a Super Bowl. If the Eagles win on wild card, I think they'd get smacked going to Lambeau Field the next week. So
that's true. That'd be a tough one.
That's my thought process. I don't want either one of them going to the Super Bowl. Which team is a bigger threat? It's Dallas. I want Dallas out in the first round if I could only pick one.
I hear you. Pain Man with Wheels, thank you, brother. He says Eli's overhyped, but Jones is an XFL quarterback. I always say I feel like Eli Manning is underrated. I always love when people say he's overrated, and I always say, how the hell could a quarterback be overrated when everybody just insults the guy? And everybody says he sucks. How is it possible for a guy to be overrated when everybody says he sucks? I don't quite understand that. But yeah. It is what it is.
I don't want to get
overrated quarterback.
I don't want to get into the Eli talk, but
Troy Aikman's overrated.
People said that Eli was. I mean, I don't know. Maybe by Giants fans, but by the general football fans, no. I completely disagree with that.
Yeah. Zach Attack, thank you, brother. He says Eli's that dude. These trolls got to stop the cap.
It is what it is.
Hey, man, we both said the same thing. It is what it is. The 10 that shouldn't be, thank you, brother. He says, of those 16 Giants playoff seasons, 7 revolve around Bill Parcells and LT, and 6 revolve around Eli Manning. DJ has nothing on Eli Manning.
Yeah, it's common sense. I hate being that because I like Daniel Jones. I like Daniel Jones. I want Jones to be great. I want him to be better than Eli Manning. But
so do I. I'd love to win 3 Super Bowl MVPs.
Don't insult Eli Manning. That's insulting. I mean, Eli Manning's the greatest quarterback in this franchise's history.
Yeah, it is insulting.
Yeah.
Payne Man with Wheels, thank you, brother. He says, by the way, Dave Gettleman is worst GM in Giants history. Watches teams since '79. Probably the biggest waste of draft capital in recent memory. What a clown show. He was terrible.
Yeah, no, I mean, I'd have to look over Giants history, but I mean, yeah, probably. I mean, I can't imagine anybody was worse. So, yeah. I mean, of course, he's obviously better. Reese, obviously better.
George Young was better.
George Young, obviously better. So, yes, since he's been watching, yes.
Yeah. Lorenzo, thank you, brother. I appreciate it. I feel that Merrill will keep Judge. Hate to say it. He could. But that's going to hamper his GM candidates. If he's telling the GM coming in here, you have to keep the coach. Got to give them some leeway for sure. Will J, thank you, brother. Consistently being a bad team is not a good look on a franchise. I always said it. Other bad teams made drastic turnarounds in a year or two. We've been bad for 5 straight years. Really 10. But I mean, 2016 was an aberration of a team that struggled offensively, had a great defense, and beat a lot of weak teams by a touchdown or less and got smacked by everybody that was good. But at least they did win 11 games that year. But the last 5, we have been dreadful. The dregs of the NFL. The worst team in football with the Jets.
Yeah. Jets, Jaguars, Giants, Lions. You pair them all together. That's where we've been the last 10 years. We're in that grouping.
That's not good company for the Giants to be in.
Yeah.
At all. It's not good company for any team to be in, honestly. Peyton Manning Wheels, thank you, brother. Jamarcus had more talent than DJ. Who cares? Yeah.
Probably did. I mean, Russell, his problem was probably his work ethic. He was overweight and everything, but he was the first overall pick. So probably.
Yeah. Talent. I mean, did Tom Brady have the most talent coming out of college? Ended up being the greatest quarterback in the history of football.
Yeah.
Anthony, thank you, brother. Appreciate it. Kitchens was removed to rest room. Kindly flush.
Kitchens, that experiment did not work. And again, if you're being as fair as you can, Kitchens literally had Mike Glennon and, all the injuries. So it's hard, but that didn't work. The change of the OC definitely didn't work. So, and that was another move where I was like, all right. Yeah, and I said it when they made the change. I'm like, this might be Joe Judge trying to convince Mara. It's not, it's Garrett. It's not me. And he made the change, and it hasn't improved. So
no, it's historically bad. That's what it is. Pain with wheels. Thank you, brother. Jones will have a long career selling waterbeds. He probably doesn't need to sell any.
Jones going to stick around in the end. He might not be a starter forever, but he's definitely going to stick around.
If Jones ever played another down in the NFL, I don't think he's going to have to sell water beds, but I get what
he'll be just fine.
Sebastian, thank you, brother. Jones have potential. Shermer leaving hurt him. I agree with that.
100%.
Agree with that.
100%. Shermer, you say what you want about the guy's head coach, and this is why I liked it when we hired him, because I knew we were going to be drafting a quarterback soon. Career years with 3 quarterbacks before he took the job. That being Nick Foles, who had the 3rd best QB rating in the history of football for a single season. When he was his offensive play caller, Sam Bradford, who had his best year of his career, the 1 year that Sherman was calling his plays. And there's another, Case Keenum, who went to the NFC title game, I think, with the Minnesota Vikings on the plate of Stephon Diggs against the Saints, who by far had his career year. Yep. Daniel Jones had his career year so far with Pat Shermer, and Teddy Bridgewater this year had his career year, and statistically at least, with Pat Shermer calling the plays. So 100% moving on for Pat Shermer crippled Daniel Jones. No doubt about it.
Yeah. And that's one of my biggest hangups with the organization itself is if you knew that a bad season was going to get Shermer fired when you took a rookie quarterback, why the hell would you draft a quarterback that year? It just didn't make any sense. Yeah. It didn't make any sense to draft the quarterback for that head coach that you knew if he had a bad year, they were going to fire him. Yeah. Again, it's just the Giants are doing things backwards as an organization, and that's why they don't progress ever. Pain with wheels. Thank you, brother. Nick Foles had 27 touchdowns and 2 interceptions on the year. Guess he just needs a good offensive coordinator. Bortles had 35 touchdowns 1 year. Maybe Jones just sucks and people don't want to admit it. The thumbnail always cracks me up. Carlos is Vince. Thank you, brother. Appreciate it. Listen, some people are just going to defend their players. It is what it is. It's a lot of people nowadays are really player fans, and they will defend their player. Me, I'm a team guy. I don't care. I mean, I have my favorites, but it doesn't, if they suck, they suck. If they're good, they're good. If they're good, I give them credit. If they're bad, I'm going to criticize them. It's just, I don't play favorites. I want to be able to give these guys some freaking props. They're not giving me a reason to. Carlos, thank you, brother. Appreciate it, fellows. Y'all my guys, but you can't name 5 coaches with worse situations than Joe Judge inherited.
I agree.
Crap owner, GM, O-line, offensive coordinator, injury-prone quarterback, and running back. All he's had is a mediocre defensive unit.
I agree with that. And he inherited a team during the pandemic in his first year as a coach, which didn't help. I agree with that. And it's why I wouldn't flip out if they brought him back for a 3rd year. I'd understand it. It's not what I want. I want to bring in, I want to be able to handpick my general manager, but you're not going to see me flip out. And I've told you what I would do, but you're not going to see me flip out if they do a legitimate GM search, they do a thorough search, they bring in an outsider. I don't want Kevin Abrams. I don't want somebody with connections. Now, if you end up with Scott Pioli because of connections to New England, he's a legitimate general manager. But I want an outside GM. I want somebody to come in here with somebody that I believe that could build a good football team. If they stick with Judge for another year and then they decide to move on if things don't dramatically improve the next year, you're not going to see me flip out about that. I agree with what you said. He did inherit a horrible team. And he also this year got dealt a horrible hand. It's the facts. I mean, Daniel Jones is now missing 6 games. His entire offensive line got hurt before the year started. Do I think he's done a good job this year? No. Do I love some of the decisions he's made? No. Do I think he's been a poor situational coach this year? Yes. I would move on. I'm not going to flip out if they don't, as long as they bring in a legitimate outside GM.
Yeah, well, listen, I mean, Pat Shermer inherited the same. They got rid of him after 2 years. And they gave Pat Shermer a rookie quarterback on top of it. So he took over the same thing. Crap owner, same GM, offensive line was a joke. his offensive coordinator. I don't even know. I mean, I don't know who the offensive coordinator was. I forget who the hell. Oh, Shula.
Sure,
No,
yeah,
no,
but
Shula called the plays.
Shermer called the plays.
Yeah, Shermer called the plays. They drafted, he had Eli Manning, wasn't injury prone, but it was definitely at the end of his career. And they took the same running back, Shermer's first year there. So Shermer inherited pretty much the same crap. It's just Barkley had a really good rookie season, but they only gave him 2 years too. So I don't know. Gettleman inherited a bad situation and made it worse somehow. But I sometimes I just feel like the coach needs to make it's things he does in the game. It's the way he uses timeouts, the way he mismanages the clock. This 75-0 or whatever it is in the last 2 minutes of the first half tells you all you need to know. It's that type of thing, man. He's just not like Chris said, situational football. I just feel like he comes up short every time. He doesn't have a good feel for the game. It's something weird with him. I can't put my finger on it, but he's just not a good. Some guys just not meant to be head coaches. I don't know if he has what it takes.
Yeah.
Billy, thank you, brother. He says, sorry, boys, not the Giants, but was at the Knicks game sitting on the end where RJ hit the shot. MSG is the best. Also, fire joke judge. MSG is the best.
Billy, how you doing, man? I know I talk to you on Twitter sometimes. Great supporter. What a game, man. Glad that you got to go to that, man. That must have been a great experience.
Yeah. Going to the Garden for one of those games is a great experience because the Garden that's the best arena in basketball. It really is. Mark Primetime, thank you, brother. He says, as a Cowboys fan, I hated Eli out of respect of his game. Always gave Dallas a hard game. Watch Eli from day one. He always gave the Giants a chance. Well, that's the thing, Chris. When the Giants are down with 2 minutes ago and Eli had the ball, you always felt like we were going to win. Don't get that feeling from Daniel Jones. Haven't.
That year in 2011, I can't remember what the score was, but wasn't he down by like 13 points or something with like 4 minutes left against the Cowboys? It was like something, the game where Romo missed the throw and Eli got the ball back. Like he scored like 2 touchdowns, I think. And I don't even remember, but that game always rings a bell. People forget about that. They just think it's the playoffs, but there's so many instances where Eli was incredible in the regular season in big spots like that. And yeah, like you said, I always felt like, and again, I agree, he had a much better support system, but I always felt like we had a shot, regardless of, what the game was, the point in the game, how much we may have been down. You always felt like he gave you a chance.
Yeah, there's no doubt about that. Albin, thank you for the super chat. Says Daniel Jones equals Sam Darnold. They're both horrible. Yeah. I don't know. It's not good. Duncan, thank you for being a member for 4 months. How do you feel about the New Jersey Giants shirts? I didn't see them.
New Jersey Giants shirts? No, I haven't seen that.
I have not seen those. Fred Stanley, thank you for the super chat. I appreciate you. He says, a month ago, I thought Judge was safe, but now with WFAN and ESPN blasting Judge and the blowouts, I don't think he's safe anymore. Writing on the wall. I don't know. I don't know if Mara is going to listen to the I
don't know. I mean, Mara has listened to the fan base in the past, so that's why I think it's 50-50. He's listened to the fan base with Shermer, I think. I don't think he wanted to fire Shermer. I really don't, but I think he listened to the fan base. I think he listened to the fan base when, there's a couple instances I can't think of off the top. Oh, Eli, obviously, when the fan base reacted the way they did with the Geno Smith thing, and which obviously they had every right to do that, but I think that impacted Mara in terms of wanting to push forward with Eli and trying to win for him in the next year. So I definitely think in recent history, which is not good, by the way, regardless of, as fans, obviously you feel like you're right, but you don't want the owner to listen to the fan base. But I do think in recent history, he has listened to the fan base. And it's why, if you would ask me 10 years ago, I would say, no, Judge is going to stay. But I think it's at least 50-50. Especially with the national media now, it's like this has become a national story now. You see,
it really did blow up. He did a really bad job. He really made himself look bad.
I think the rant made it a lot more possible that this could actually happen now.
Yeah,
because now you're gonna have pressure from the national media, the fans themselves. We'll see. I think it's 50-50.
Yeah, he's not as safe as he was before that.
I think he was safe before that. Like, I wouldn't say he was definitely coming back, But I think I definitely would have been like, I think he's coming back. Now I don't know.
Yeah, we'll see. NFL experts saying for super chat with Glennon and from a quarterback. We are the worst in the NFL. We've been that way since Daniel Jones got hurt. There's no question about that. We are just garbage. Darian, thank you for super chat. We just answered that one.
Says, I think it's. I honestly think it's 50-50, Darian. It's very close. I actually put a poll up on my Twitter account. I was shocked at how close it was to 50-50. I think it was 52% of Giants fans thought he was coming back. 48% thought he wasn't. So
what I think is that whoever the hell the GM is should make that decision.
Yeah.
If the new GM says, yeah, I'll keep him, I'm not going to complain. I want the GM to have free reign to do whatever the hell he wants. I also think Joe Judge needs to be able to pick his own coaching staff.
Yeah.
E. Diddy, thank you, brother. Matt Corral opinions. He has the ability to read and is athletic. He had an ankle injury, but a possible late trade up with second round pick or trade back with Chicago pick. What do you think quarterbacks are valuable? I don't like the quarterbacks in this draft class. I just don't. I think we have more pressing needs than that right now. I think we have to build for the future quarterback. But if you bring in a quarterback, you're putting him in the same situation we put Daniel Jones in. It's hard to put a rookie quarterback in that situation and expect him to succeed. So
yeah,
Corral.
I'll give him my opinions on Corral. I don't want to draft a quarterback. I've said that. And now if they're gonna draft a quarterback, I'd be much happier if it was in the second round because there's no financial commitment. You could move on after a year if you want to draft a quarterback in the next draft, similar to like what Denver's kind of done with Locke, even though they haven't drafted a quarterback. Not that I want to do that. I don't want to draft a quarterback in the first two rounds for sure. My opinion on Corral, and I have not done a ton of research on all these guys. I've looked at them though. Corral's arm is very underrated. I see a lot of fans say that Matt Corral has a mediocre to weak arm, and I'm like, what film are you watching? I've seen this guy throw 65, 70-yard throws. Like, maybe not 70, but he's got an arm. He's definitely got an above-average arm, in my opinion. I don't think he's got a Josh Allen arm, but he's got a good arm. The injury concerns definitely, like you said, would concern me a bit. He's got some mobility as well, but to me, he's not worthy. Here's my take on the quarterback position, Baddog, is just my opinion on it. If I don't feel confident enough that I would want to trade up to get one of these guys early in the first round, I don't think we should draft the quarterback. And I don't feel that way about any of these quarterbacks.
I feel the same way. Fred, thank you, brother. Appreciate it. Shermer system's overrated. It's a one-read system that makes average quarterbacks put up numbers until they face zone defenses. Never developed a franchise quarterback. Maybe true. I still think that losing him hurt Daniel Jones' development, but Daniel Jones is a one-read quarterback, so maybe that is why they wanted him for Shermer.
Yeah, I mean, I'm not going to get into it. I mean, I don't know. I think, and you could at least argue that the Nick Foles year was related to Chip Kelly because that scheme definitely had padded offensive stats because of how many extra possessions they got, and I don't know. I think he had a lot of success with Case Keenum, and I think that's why he got the Giants job. I mean, Case Keenum that year was a borderline Pro Bowl quarterback, so I think he's had some success.
Yeah, this Rangers game is over. Got their ass kicked, losing 5-1. Gregory, thank you for the super chat. Appreciate you, my man. He says, Chris and Kevin Boyd, is I wrong about this season? So are we. I feel like the defense could have been so much better if our offense wasn't turning the ball over all the time. And congrats on Scherzer, Chris.
Appreciate that, Greg. I'm excited. Well, hopefully I get to see Scherzer. I think I will. I think they'll get this sorted out. But yeah, the defense. I mean, it's hard for me to like destroy the defense because
they're in a bad situation.
They're in a bad situation, especially the last 6 weeks. Like we thought the offense was anemic with Jones. It's like Daniel Jones looks like Joe Montana. Compared to the quarterback play we're getting right now. So, it's very hard for me to come down on Patrick Graham. Like the defense has no chance. The offense ain't helping him out. The special teams is dreadful. So it's hard, man. I think Patrick Graham's done a pretty good job, all things considered this year. I'm not saying I haven't been as impressed with him as last year, but I think he's done a pretty good job.
Yeah. I felt like they got better in the middle of the year. And then, there's nothing they can do. There's nothing they can do. So I don't brag on the defense. There's nothing they can do. Game of Sports, thank you, brother. Phillip Rivers has the same amount of kids as years Giants have gone without a playoff win. He's got a lot of kids. He does.
Wow.
You got a lot of kids.
Well, that would make what? That would make
It's 9 or 10. I think he has 10 kids.
so he's got wow.
I think he has 10.
He don't
He's
miss.
got 9 or 10. No, he don't miss.
He don't miss.
He needs a snip. He's making his own football team.
Yeah.
Duncan, thank you, brother. Appreciate it. Says, call me stupid, but you guys have a good team. It's your play calling and coach that sucks. What do you think of Doug Peterson as a coach? I've never been a big Peterson fan, but again, Duncan, I don't really care. I don't want Judge back, but like Chris said, I mean, I know people think I'm going to throw a fit if he is back. I'm not. As long as the GM is the one to decide the coach, I'm going to ride with whoever the new GM. If the new GM says, I'll bring Joe Judge back, I'm fine with that. But I don't want the GM to be forced. I don't want whoever they're coming in here in their interview going to say, well, we're going to keep Joe Judge. How do you feel about working with Joe Judge? I don't want that. So I feel like whoever the GM feels is the best for this team and his direction to coach the team or coach a team in the direction that the new GM wants to go, I'm fine with that. If he thinks Joe Judge is the guy, I'm not going to agree with it until Judge proves me wrong, but I'm not going to be mad about it. I just want that guy to have the ability to choose his own coach, whoever the hell it may be.
And I don't think you're stupid, Duncan. Here's what I'll say, Duncan. If our team was completely healthy, not completely healthy, but like relatively healthy, because nobody stays completely healthy. But I do think we have enough talent on this team if we had a good play caller to have a competent offense.
Yeah, it's weird how bad this offense is.
I will agree with you on that, which would in turn make our defense better. So I do think play calling plays a factor. I will agree with you on that. As far as Doug Peterson goes, a lot of people have brought up Doug Peterson. And I'm not trying to take anything away from Doug Peterson. Doug Peterson won a Super Bowl. Okay. You got to give him credit for that. I was never in love with Doug Peterson. I always thought that he benefited from Frank Reich. His last year with the Eagles, when I would watch his games, and by the way, I think I felt bad for Peterson when he got fired because I think that the Eagles blackballed him. I absolutely think that Eagles ownership was behind the tanking. Like there's no way Doug Peterson, because he had to think his job could potentially be on the line, would have told his players to tank unless the ownership said, yeah, go ahead and do that.
Yeah. So, Doug Peterson's not putting Nate Sudfeld in.
He's not putting Nate Sudfeld in if he thinks his job's on the line. So I felt bad for him in that aspect because I don't think they were going to fire him. And then when they got the media backlash that they did, they used Peterson as a scapegoat. But what I'll say about Doug Peterson is the one thing that I do not like about Doug Peterson, and I'm all for analytics. I think that analytics are a tool that should be used. He is too analytically driven. He basically reads off a computer in games that I've watched. I feel like the guy would go for 2 if it was a tie game with 3 seconds to go. That's the one thing that I never liked about Doug Peterson.
I said I felt like the Eagles won in spite of him, not because of him. That was a really good team that won that Super Bowl. And yeah, as soon as Frank Reich left, the offense took a turn for the worse. So I agree. Nikki, thank you, brother. I appreciate it. Says, how to fix the Giants. Mara hires Tainah as GM. Tainah hires Baddog as head coach. Tainah hires me as director of college scouting and player personnel. I don't want to be the head coach.
Let's do it, Nikki. Let's do it.
I don't want to be the head coach. Give me like
linebackers coach.
Yeah, linebackers coach. I get on board with that.
Okay.
Or the secondary coach, whatever that. Yeah, defensive backs. Let me get the DBs. That's what I play. Let me get the DBs. NFL experts say you rather appreciate it. Judge got him fired with that rant for sure. Bozo the clown.
If Judge does get fired, I think that'll be the reason he gets fired.
That didn't do him anything. He did not. He was trying to defend himself and make a case to come back next year, and like everything else he's done, it completely backfired.
It backfired.
Like everything else that he has done, he went about it the wrong way.
Yeah.
Everything that he has done has failed. And that rant was a failure. He can't rant like me. You've been watching my videos, Joe. You got to learn how to rant better than that. You got to know how to do it.
Yeah.
You got to know how to do that. Joe, you got to know how to do that right there, Joe. Joe, you should have went back and looked at the tape. You should have went back and looked at the tape of one of my rants, and you could have done it better, Joe. Next time.
I think if he does get fired, that I think will be what would put it over the top, because I think that's what made it a national story. Yeah. Like right now, like before that, Mara just had pressure from the fan base, and you're always going to have pressure from the fan base. But when Judge did that, now you got the ESPN.
And everybody killed him.
Everybody
killed him. Don McGreca killed him. Dan Orlovsky killed him. Ryan Clark killed him. Jeff Saturday killed him. They all killed him.
Yeah. So that if he does get fired, I think that'll be the reason. More than
Those are former NFL players that understand what the hell goes on. So
Yeah.
Orlovsky said he was on an 0-16 team, and he didn't ever see that. He didn't see no clubs in front of the locker. I don't know. He did anything with a $5. Boom! I appreciate that very much, my man. NFL experts, thank you for super chat. Phillip Rivers, a pull-out game is weak. Pulling out don't always work. Fact.
Yeah.
So be careful with that, young gents, especially when you're young. You're very virile. You got to watch yourself. You never know. You never know. Don't always work. Trust me, it doesn't always work. Charles, thank you for the super chat. Appreciate it. Doug Peterson is a disgrace to football. Never Doug. I'm surprised Charles Barkley didn't say he was terrible.
I'd be okay with him if I thought he was a really good coach. I'm not saying he can't win. He's proven he can win, but he wouldn't be my number one choice. I'll put it that way.
No. I don't think I'd be on board for
because I don't put the tanking thing on Peterson. I really don't. I think he took the fall for it, but I don't put that on him.
Authentic says true that Tate used to keep his golf club. Supposedly Julian Love said that he kept clubs by his locker, but what's it do? That has nothing to do with anything. Why can't the guys have golf clubs by their lockers? Baseball players play golf all the time. Even if there was golf clubs there, those guys can do other things when they're not, practicing. I mean, as long as he's not skipping practice to go golf, he wants to golf in his free time. I don't see why that's a big deal, but maybe he did. I don't know. I don't know why it was a Julian Love that said that. I don't know why anybody would say that, but Joe Judge, the funny thing is Joe Judge wants to say, I'm not going to throw my players under the bus, but then he goes and he throws a former player under the bus.
Well, if you recall last year, he got into it with Golden Tate too. Remember, I mean, and at the time I was okay with it, but
that's when Golden Tate's wife said something.
His wife said something, and I think he had Golden Tate stay home.
He did.
He didn't get on the plane with the team.
Yeah.
Right? Something like that.
Yeah. Yeah, he did. It's true. He made him stand because Golden Tate scored a touchdown and said, throw me the ball. That's what he said. Throw me the ball.
I think, yeah.
Joe Judge has had a lot of problems with a lot of people in 2 years. Shermer wasn't we didn't get results from Shermer. Did you ever hear about any of this stuff with Pat Shermer? Did you ever hear about Shermer getting
You heard about the DeAndre Baker falling asleep in meetings, that he didn't know the playbook. DeAndre Baker, the thing happened, I guess, in between coaches with the thing that why he's not on the team anymore. But you heard about that. I'm trying to think about what else. The one thing I'll say about Shermer, just the feeling I get from and maybe I'm wrong, but I felt like the players, at least Jones and Barkley, but maybe they're not asking Jones questions, if I'm being fair right now, because he's hurt. But I felt like they were really strongly trying to support Pat keeping his job. And maybe we will get that after the last game on Sunday. But I remember them really trying to back up Pat. I haven't really.
But you're never going to hear a player go, we got to get rid of this guy. He sucks.
But they were really strongly backing up Pat. But I think Saquon's kind of done that with Judge as well.
I don't know. I think they're always going to back up their call. I just think that's
should. Yeah, they should.
Yeah, they should.
Yeah.
Jared Johnson, thank you, brother. He says, got to learn to rant right there. All right. He's got to learn to rant right there. All right.
What's up, Tired?
He got to check the tape, too. Gotta go check tape, all right? I got to go check the tape right there, all right? Like I said, Joe Judge will be having his season ender, next week. So, E. Diddy. Thank you so much for the 20, man. I really appreciate that. He says, I believe we need an adequate backup with upside to push DJ. Look at Derek Carr. Has done better with pressure behind him. If DJ crumbles, he is not the guy. Look at Carson. He is being carried by offensive line and JT Thomas or Taylor. He crumbled in Philadelphia. He did because the offensive line was terrible. Philadelphia's offensive line is much better this year. They're able to run the ball. They're able to succeed with a quarterback who I don't think is as good as Carson Wentz.
I'm with you, Diddy. I think that's exactly what I want this year. I want a guy to come in here. You don't roll out the red carpet for Jones, but give him an opportunity to go out there and start and give him a better supporting cast, continue to fix that offensive line, and hopefully these guys come back healthy and see if he can take that huge step. And if he doesn't, You move on quick. But that I'm completely fine with that. It's what I've said now for a while. I want to give Jones another shot. I want him to come back for a fourth year. Now, I will say, if there was a quarterback in this draft that I felt like, that is an upper echelon quarterback, I would want to draft that quarterback. But being that I don't feel that way, I want to give Jones another year. I want to support him with a better cast. I want to get a better offensive line, as much for the guy that will probably replace Jones as for Jones himself. But if Jones goes out there and proves a lot of people wrong, tip your cap, and I'll be happy.
Yeah. I mean, I made a video on it myself, which is why that one guy seeing you all around DJ from day one. I made a video said I felt like you should come back next year. And I have not wavered from that stance. I do believe Daniel Jones should be the starting quarterback going into training camp. But yes, there's no doubt they need a competent NFL backup for sure. Yeah. Not just to push Daniel Jones, but in case Daniel Jones gets hurt because he has not made it through one season yet without missing some time. We need a guy that can go, okay, this guy may not win us the game, but he ain't going to lose us the game either.
Yeah.
Like the guys that we're bringing off the bench this year. And, Joe Judge has something to do with Glennon coming in here. There's no way that was all Gettleman. There's no way that.
I think Joe Judge was at least equally responsible.
That's not mean.
For everything. Yeah. I mean, this is how I know that Joe Judge had a ton in terms of the personnel decisions. Do you think Dave Gettleman would have cared as much about special teams as the Giants did this offseason?
Nate Ebner? Whatever happened to Nate Ebner? Does he?
They brought Ebner back. They drafted Brightwell specifically for special teams. They rostered Cullen Gillespie, a second fullback, because of his special teams. So that's how I know Judge had a lot of say in terms of the personnel decisions.
Yeah. So and the special teams bites.
Yeah. So
it's not a Gano. Gano's the man. NFL experts, thank you, brother. Appreciate it. Giants fans honestly should have a protest outside the stadium, and I'll gladly be a part. Who's in Judge pullout game week? I didn't know Judge had kids.
I didn't either.
I didn't know he had kids. Irish Rover, thank you for the super chat. Appreciate you. Says LT brought clubs to the locker room all the time. Of course, we have no players like LT. Well, if you ever saw LT's golf game, I don't know what he used those clubs for. It wasn't golfing. And he slept in meetings all the time. And it didn't matter because he was Lawrence Taylor. Speaking of Lawrence Taylor, anybody watched the John Madden thing? I finally got to see it. I actually have it on again. You notice that
what is it on, by the way? What streaming service is it on?
It's not on streaming. I taped it off NFL Network.
Oh, it's on NFL Network. Okay.
I taped it off of there. They start with LT. They end with LT. I think that's all you need to know.
Yeah.
They start talking about the all Madden thing. I mean, how many all Maddens did Taylor make? He just. Every when I watch it, I'm just sitting and I'm watching the highlights of that guy, and it just brings a tear. That guy was so good.
I thought the last person they ended with was his son.
I meant player wise.
Oh, player wise, yeah. But yeah, I watched it on ESPN Plus twice. It was fantastic.
Yeah,
start to finish, man. It was great. John Madden was such a great guy.
Yes. Jeffy, thank you so much for the super chat. Does Kenny Golladay finally get a touchdown Sunday? I doubt it. I don't think we're going to get a touchdown.
Fromm's the quarterback. No. No.
Maybe if Golladay plays in the Wildcat and runs one in, that could happen. Maybe. Fly Parks, thank you, brother. Appreciate it. Chris Baddog, how do you feel about putting Jimmy G in your roster, or is Jones your guy?
I talked about Garoppolo before the year started when people brought up a potential stopgap, just because if Joe Judge was coming back, because Shaplinski's his former quarterback coach with New England, and he talked about how much he loved Judge and Shaplinski while he was with New England. And he's a somewhat accomplished quarterback. He obviously went to a Super Bowl, but the reason it doesn't make any sense for me is because of his contract. And I don't think the Niners are just going to cut the guy. I think that they could potentially get something for him. And if they can't, they'd probably just bring him back for one more year to, compete with Lance or be the starter. I don't know. But if I have to trade for him, no, I have no interest because I got to take on that $27 million contract.
Yeah, I don't want to take the money. We can't afford him.
Yeah, and the other thing is Garoppolo, I don't think he'd want to come here. I think Garoppolo would probably feel like he's accomplished enough where he wants to go to a place where he feels like he's the unquestioned starter, or maybe a situation where I don't know. I don't think the Giants are a spot. And if you're Garoppolo and you're looking to have another opportunity to become a long-term starter or get another contract with another team, why would you sign with the Giants? Their offensive scheme's a disaster. Their offensive line's a disaster. They have constant injuries. So I just don't see the attraction, even if Garoppolo was a free agent, to want to come here.
Yeah, I don't know why any quarterback would want to come into this situation.
Yeah.
Right now, to be honest. Ron says LT was a joy to watch play, man. You're not lying. That guy was, like you said, unless you watched him play, you just can't explain what the hell that guy did. I saw Fabian ask if I have VCR. I do still have a VCR, but that's not where I DVR'd it. Is that better? Is that what I should have said? I DVR'd it. Is that better? I do have a VCR sitting in my closet over there. I don't think I have any VHS tapes left, though. I think they're all gone, except for the ones I use. Like I still have the 2000, the Daytona 500 that Earnhardt got killed. I think it was 2001. I have that taped. I'm sure I have tape. I gotta go check the tape. I gotta check my tape. NFL experts, thank you, brother Baddog and Tainah. Are you people the ones begging to come back to the Giants? You're the one calling Judge 2 times a day. Come back to the G-men. If I called Judge 2 times a day, he wouldn't be taking my calls.
Your number would be blocked by now.
There's no way he's taking my call. No way.
Your number would be blocked by now.
No. And then the funny thing is, that's the only thing the Giants can block would be my number.
That's true. That's true.
That's the way it goes. Duncan, thank you, brother. Appreciate it. The Giants should give Joe Judge a lifetime contract. Yeah, as somebody that gives away the medium sodas, he should be working at the concession stand and giving away the sodas. That's what he should be doing. Zach Attack, thank you for the super chat. He says, only way we're scoring is if Gano hits 80 yarders.
Yeah, that's about right. I hope Fromm proves me wrong. But he's horrible. I thought he was horrible a while ago, and long before he got this opportunity to start. We saw it, now we know it. He's horrible.
Yes. He's Cannon Life says VHS Super Bowls. That's a shot at, he's an Eagles fan. That's a shot at the Cowboys. I'm just telling you right now. That is a shot at the Cowboys.
Oh yeah.
That's the last time they won. It was on VHS.
They had to have a DVD player in 95, didn't they? No, they didn't.
DVD players came out. I'm pretty sure that was VHS.
Yeah, they didn't have. When did DVD players come out?
I bought my first DVD player in 2003, but it wasn't.
When did PlayStation 2 come out? Because I know PlayStation 2, they had a built-in DVD.
97?
97 it came out, PlayStation 2?
97, right on there, I think. 97, 98.
Let me see. PlayStation 2.
PlayStation 1 came out in 95, I think.
2000 PlayStation 2 came out.
Oh, Jesus.
Yeah, so I don't know if I would guess maybe 90, like you said, 96, 97 DVDs came out.
Yeah. Who's a bigger dumpster fire of an organization, Jags or Giants?
You got to be the Jags lifetime. I mean, the Giants have 4 Super Bowls, but right now, Jags are still an atrocious organization. And obviously, they just fired their head coach. He wasn't even there for a year with Urban Meyer. But if you ask me right now, if I was a head coach taking a job, I'd probably prefer the Jaguars just because they have Trevor Lawrence and they have cap space and they have the first overall pick.
And yeah, they don't have to do a Mara.
Yeah, so if I
there's less heat on you in Jacksonville too. New York is but
the Jaguars are definitely a worse organization.
Yeah. Rolly, thank you, brother. Appreciate it. He says, Chris, I want a yes or no answer. Do you want Judge back? I don't want a circle.
There's no circle, yes or no. I literally made a video saying that I would not bring Judge back. So my answer is no. My reasoning is not the same as a lot of people, but I know I do not want Joe Judge back. Would I flip out if they brought him back? No. I could see, Roldy, I'm a guy, and I'm not saying you're not, but I could understand the logic why they would bring Judge back. I just disagree with it. I would not bring him back.
Yeah. Like I said,
so that's not a circle.
If the GM has the right to pick his coach, and that's the coach he wants, I'm okay. If John Mara sits the GM down and says your coaching staff is set, now let's talk about the draft or why you want this position. No, I don't like that. But yeah, I don't want Judge back. You guys, I think you know my feelings about Joe Judge. I made them pretty clear. And yeah, if he comes back for a third year, I'm not going to be happy, but I'm not going to go off. I know people are going to think I'm going to make this rant video and I'm going to scream at the top of my lungs. I'm not, but I don't want him back here. I don't. And all I can say is if he comes back next year and they get off to another lousy start, he's probably going to have a very short leash, which to me, I see, this is the thing though, Chris. I know you said that if he comes back and we start 0-5, he could be fired. But if that's the case, then why bring him back at all? If they get off to a bad start, say they're 1-5 again, like they were this year, and they fire him a third of the way into the season, what is the point of bringing him back for a third of a season?
That's kind of my thinking. And that's why I think, here's what I'm going to say. If you push forward with Judge and you fit a GM around Judge, it's almost like you want to give Judge another 2 years. Like if you can't, if you're going to build this team the right way, you can't go into next year expecting to go out there and win and be a very good football team. You have to think long term. You can't just think about next year. And my thought process is, and that's all well and good if Judge agrees to that and he pushes forward with that, but then Joe Judge is a dead man walking. Right. Because there's no way after next year that if the Giants win 5 games or 6 games, the fan base they're going to have to fire Judge. So that's why I'd probably move on, because I think at that point you're more than likely bringing Judge back to fire him anyway.
Right. So, just wanted your opinion on that. Grant, thank you, brother. Mike Glennon is athletic as a flagpole. He looks like a flagpole, and he throws like 1-2. Mike Glenn off. Jared, thank you for super chat. Fake Jared says I'm still married to Asia, guys.
Oh, that's a fake Jared.
That's fake Jared. Yeah, that's fake.
Okay,
fake
Jared. Well, fake Jared. Congratulations.
Yeah, fake Jared. Rolly, thank you for super chat. Appreciate it. Chris, at the end of the day, I love you, bro. I know I'm hard on you. Pause. I just have to come at you with your fandom stuff.
I guess. Whatever it is, what it is. It makes it for a more entertaining stream, Roldy. So to that aspect, I appreciate it. I think some people like the back and forth. So as long as you're respectful.
Who do I think won a divisional playoff game in HD? Oh, I would say Dallas. I think Dallas won a playoff game. Well, Dallas did. Dallas won a playoff game a couple years ago.
Yeah,
2019, I think.
Max 1-2 in the playoffs, so he's won.
Yeah. Washington
they beat the Seahawks, I think.
Yes, Washington's probably not going to win anytime soon. They have their own issues. Jeremiah, thank you, brother. Appreciate it. Baddog, you never told us how you really feel about Joe. Yes, I know. I'm pretty sure you know how I feel by now. Every week, just watch my post-game videos every week. Since week 1, I've been killing that guy. Listen, I'm hard. I listen. You can't really go after 53 players. You go after the coaches. That's just what it is. You know, it is what it is, man. I just don't. Again, it's the little things that he does wrong in the game. It's the mismanagement. It's the ridiculous usage of the timeouts. It's like, again, like they don't have a plan. And Peyton Manning, Eli Manning talked about this, or maybe it wasn't the Manning cast I saw. I forgot who it was, but they said, what are the Giants doing? They throw a pass, or no, they ran the ball once. Then they threw a screen pass and got 15 yards. Like they wanted to run out the clock, and they didn't. And then they threw a 15-yard screen pass, got out to the 35. They took a timeout. Like, okay, now we're going to start moving the ball and take a shot. And then they ran the ball again. Yeah. So it's sequence like, or how about when we had third down and 28 on our own 7 or on our own 6?
Well, the third,
we take a timeout to avoid delay a game, and then on third down in the same exact series, we get a delay a game. Like how is that possible? It's those type of things that, like, man, this guy don't know what the hell he's doing. There's too much confusion, whatever it is.
One play call I didn't understand at all last week. And again, it might.
I don't even remember. Was there anybody calling the plays last week?
It's probably. I have to put the fault on the play caller. The play caller's Kitchens. So I don't know if you could put this on Judge. I think it's more Kitchens. But the 3rd and 10 last week when they ran, I think it was even like a straight up the middle handoff. Maybe it was a draw play. I can't remember. But the 3rd and 10 where they ran, I was like, what? And I understand your quarterback's horrible, but you got nothing to lose.
Yeah.
Like, try to pick up the first down.
Well, and they asked Joe Judge about that. He said, well, our game plan was to run the ball. Wanted to run the ball.
Yeah, I didn't.
That's what he said. He said, "Yeah, we're trying to break one right there." That's what he said. We're trying to break one right there, and no, you're not. Stop.
That call I didn't understand, and I understand that they were run heavy. And I see Finesse said he'd rather run there, honestly. And listen, I understand the logic, Finesse, that you're saying that you'd rather run just because you simply just don't trust your quarterback, and you're like, maybe you can surprise him and pick up 7 or 8 yards, and maybe you go for it on 4th and 2. But for me in that spot, and now what I will say, if the game meant something, I might feel differently. I might be like, okay, they ran, they tried to catch him off guard, they didn't trust Glennon, they don't want to pick in that spot. But with the game meaning nothing, obviously there's a higher percentage you're going to pick up the first down if you throw, whether it be you complete a pass, whether it be you draw a penalty.
Right.
Take a shot there. There's nothing to lose. So
he's done that a lot, though, this year, Chris, not just with Glennon. He's made a lot of those head-scratching calls.
Yeah.
Big-time Eagles fan. Thank you, brother. Yo, what's up? I don't know, my blood pressure.
What's going on, man? Thanks for popping in.
Philadelphia said a divisional playoff game because Dallas won the wild card game. Dallas is going to win before Washington does. Dallas is a good team that's going to be getting better. Dallas is going to be dangerous here if they're not already dangerous. They're a little inconsistent right now, but that's going to be a good team. Jared, thank you, brother. Unless their offensive line starts to fall apart. Me and Asia honeymoon in Hawaii. All right. I don't blame you. I'd go somewhere warm too. Darian, thank you, brother. What are your building blocks for this team? Ojulari.
I'm assuming he means currently on the roster.
Yeah, Ojulari.
McKinney. It's going to be all the rookies. It's going to be all the young guys.
Yeah, McKinney, Ojulari. Thomas. Yeah. I think that's it.
Hopefully Tony, if he could stay healthy.
Yeah, I don't know much about Tony.
Yeah, I mean, I think some of the young guys. I mean,
Barkley, we don't know Barkley's future.
Yeah, I mean, Robinson, maybe. Maybe a guy like Darnay Holmes when he gets back and he's healthy. But, Julian Love, maybe. I think he's played okay. But these guys are not huge impact players. But yeah, we don't have many of them. We don't have long-term building blocks on this team right now.
We definitely do not. Jared says, look in the mirror, Jared. Yeah.
Adoree could be, by the way. I saw Finesse. I've said him in the past. I think he's young enough where he definitely could get a second contract with the Giants. Leo's clearly a big part of the team now. I don't know if he's a future big part of the team. But Adoree could be. Yeah.
That got stuck there. Oops. Yeah, that chat just stuck over here. But guys, I know we got off the late start and it's 12:45 and I do have to get up in the morning for work. Want to appreciate you guys and girls, or do appreciate you guys and girls being here. So thank you so much. We had a lot of people in here tonight, which is awesome considering this has been such a terrible season. We had almost 800 people in here at one point. Still 650 in the chat. So one last time, if you haven't done so, hit the like. Let's get 400 likes. I think we're pretty close to 400. Hit the subscribe, ring the bell. But more importantly, make sure you go into the description. Link to the Entertainment Talking Sports is right there. Make sure you sub him up because next week we do the show. It'll be on his channel. We'll obviously.
I'm going to cut you off, Baddog. I just saw Asia say this. She said you missed the super chat. I don't know. I just want to make sure you didn't in case you did. I don't know.
I don't know which one I missed.
I'm going up. I'm seeing you got Roldy. You got Jarrett. Maybe she meant earlier in the stream. I don't know. I don't see any that you missed recently.
Oh, I don't know. If I did, sorry, Asia. I didn't. I'm trying StreamYard.
Make sure in case you did.
StreamYard sticks sometimes, but I thought I got everybody. Irish, thank you for the super chat. I appreciate you. All in all, there's not enough bricks to build a wall. Nice little Pink Floyd reference.
Yeah.
My favorite song back in 1979 when I was 3 years old. And I think it's just because I liked age of the membership chats. I went back. I see it right there. I don't have the sometimes I don't have if I don't have the YouTube chat up, like if I'm scrolling through comments on the StreamYard, I don't see it. Now I see it though. So Asia, thank you for being a member for 27 months. She says, yo, Baddog, you loon. What a comeback by the Knicks. It was.
Great comeback by the Knicks, Asia.
And unfortunately, I fell asleep because I was exhausted and I'm still exhausted. And yet it's 12:45 in the morning. But I do want to get out of here. And again, it's been a tumultuous season. There's no doubt about it. come by on Sunday for the final act of the clown show that is the New York Giants, and hang out with us and let's laugh at them one last time. And then, like I said, next week we'll do the show on Chris's channel. We'll be talking more about the offseason. And maybe there'll be some rumors as to who the GM is going to be or some of this stuff. I mean, I don't really know, but obviously we'll go over the season in detail. And again, we'll talk about the offseason and everything else, and hopefully a better 2022. I don't see how it can be any worse. So,
yeah, there'll be a lot to talk about probably next couple of weeks because you'll probably GM search. Who knows if we'll be in the head coach search, and there'll be a lot to talk about. As we get the offseason underway, you'll have free agency talk before you know it, and then you'll have the draft. And maybe we'll take a little bit of a break, like you said, maybe a week or two after the season, because then you got the playoffs. And then after the playoffs, things will start to really ramp up.
Yeah.
But, yeah, I'm looking forward to the offseason. And, had an absolute blast this season with you guys, even though the team is absolute crap. And this will be the final act on Sunday. And then we'll get ready to try to find ways to how we think they should best try to improve this football team.
Yeah. And as miserable as this season has been, once we get to April and the draft is upon us, we'll be fired up and ready to go again.
Of course, we're going to have 2 early first-round picks.
Yeah, fired up and ready to go again.
We'll see how they build this football team. But I can't, like we always say, can't say thank you enough for all the support you guys always show. Great win by the Knicks tonight, like several people were saying. That was great to get the call out with some of you guys. And looking forward to talking Giants football with you in the future. So thank you guys.
Yeah. Thank you guys for, again, we'll talk about it more on Sunday, but thank you for an amazing season. Thank you for, continuing to grow this show. And there's more and more people in here. And I say it all the time. I've been saying it for 4 years. I just wait till we're good. Unfortunately, this hasn't happened, but it'll be so much more fun when we don't need to discuss the draft. I'm waiting for one of these streams where we can discuss our playoff opponent. How much fun that'll be. It'd be nice to get some excitement with the New York Giants fan base instead of all the resentment that we have towards the organization. And hopefully 2022 is the start of that. And that's all we can hope for. But it has definitely been extremely rough since we started this show, because we started it in 2018 and it hasn't. The show's been awesome. The Giants haven't, which kind of sucks. But
yeah, we haven't had awesome topics. We haven't had awesome topics.
Yeah. Your support's been unbelievable. That's why I always say Giants fans are the best. They're the best. Very loyal, very passionate, and we want our team to be good. And you guys are awesome. You make it happen for us. We really, really appreciate you. Thank you very much. And Joe, thank you for the super chases. I think we're going to be stuck for a while. I'm scared to get my Giants license plates. Well, I wear my Giants stuff at the gym all the time. People look at me like, "What the hell's wrong with that guy?" And then they see me and like, "Oh,
you're stuck for life, Jova. If you're a fan, I mean,
it
whether
is
they're stuck or whether they're great. We're all stuck. You just hope that it's good and it gets better soon."
Right. All right. So we're going to get out of here, get some sleep, and Friday is upon us. For the Talkin Sports, Baddog Dizzle, we out. Peace.